welcome here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. We appreciate you being here with us inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Great Lakes Honda City coming to you on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. They're open for sales and service Monday through Saturday on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, and they're open all the time at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. That is GreatLakesHondaCity.com. We're up and down the East Coast, the Midwest, the West Coast, and all around the globe on YouTube.com and Facebook.com, both /WakeUpCallDT, and on WakeUpCallDT.podbean.com. So I appreciate you being here with us anywhere in the world, and we got a ton of things to talk about here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life here this morning. We appreciate your patience as we got set and ready to go inside of MonPawsPopcorn.com's What's Poppin'. Two awesome guests today. Starting off the broadcast with Murph Elation Station. Murph will be with me for DT and Murphy. We'll be talking about the NCAA Tournament coming off the round of 64 and the round of 32. How's your bracket looking? Well, we'll see. And the NFL free agency side of things. We'll talk about some of the moves that have happened, and we'll get into that. And, of course, we'll also talk with Jack Stonehouse. He'll be back on the show. Stoney's been doing a heck of a job, and there's a lot of things to be said about the fact that I've never been to a Syracuse Pro Day where all the scouts were outside with special teams watching the punter, and nobody was inside watching anybody else until Jack Stonehouse was done going through his stuff. Stoney will be in the NFL. He's an awesome dude. Great personality, and he'll be here today at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. So, a lot of great stuff coming up here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life, and definitely looking forward to talking about a lot of different things today, including the fact that Syracuse Spring Ball is going on, and I was there just a few days ago, Saturday, and I'll be back there today, and I hope that... I'll talk to Murph about this and get his thoughts, but I'm looking forward to being at practice. So with that being said, Murph, how are you?
Not too good considering my favorite team and the defending champions are now out
Yeah.
of March Madness. I'm okay though because it is opening week. Opening day is on Thursday, so that's when the real season matters. But yeah, I mean, a little disappointed Florida lost, but I'm happy that it means Mets season is starting in just a couple of days.
Yeah, I'm sad to see your Florida. The funny thing is that in my bracket, I had, and the bracket that was released, and Ross and I doing the drive, which brings you through the tournament, proudly presented by Great Lakes Honda City. In my bracket, I was going through this, and my official bracket, I had Florida making it just one more step, and then in the rematch with Vanderbilt, them losing. But when I was helping someone else make their bracket, I said to them to not put Florida into the Sweet 16. So Florida ended up going that route and being out. I thought they were vulnerable. I thought Michigan, I was like, maybe they're vulnerable too, but Michigan's playing an easier bracket, it looked like, but that bracket's kind of all over the place. But Florida, to me, was the team that I circled because of how their season went. And you and I talked about this, but, I mean, when you look at the season for the Gators and you say, okay, if they're a number one seed, what have they done to earn the right to be there? They didn't make it to the championship game for the SEC tournament, so obviously they couldn't win the SEC. And then when you go back and you look at their schedule, you say, okay, who'd they play non-conference? Arizona, they lost to them. They played Duke, they lost to them. They played UConn, they lost to them. So I said, okay, they played two other number one seeds who would go on to be number one seeds, didn't beat them, and they lost to a number two seed who played for their championship game. So that, to me, was something I kept coming back to. And I would talk to people about it, and I'd see quizzical faces, like maybe they didn't even know that that was the case. That against really good competition, Florida struggled this season and didn't play well. So, I mean, am I surprised that they're out? No. Am I sad that they're out for you and Papa Joe? 100%. And did I think that Iowa was going to be the one to trounce them? No. So, I mean, I thought the Vandy rematch was going to do it. So, I am sad that you have to see that today and that you've had to endure that this morning, Murph, but St. John's for your dad is still rocking.
Yes, they are, and they were out at dinner. They came home about maybe there was 12 or so minutes left in the second half. We're watching the game. Obviously, they get up by 14 with like 7 minutes left, and I look at my dad and I'm like, "This game's not over yet. Like, this is March. No lead is safe." And sure enough, last 3 minutes of the game, what do?
Yeah.
They're not scoring. They're not playing good defense, and Kansas is right back in the game, and they tie it. I don't think Kansas ever took the lead. I think they just tied it a couple of times. But regardless, Kansas ties it with about 12 seconds left. They only have two team fouls in the second half, mind you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So St. John's would inbound the ball and they would get immediately fouled. This happened 4 times. Took 9 seconds off the clock.
Yeah.
So they got 3 seconds left. And they get the ball in. And I already forgot the guy's name, but he goes in and he hits an off balance layup for
How do you forget that name? He's the darling of the tournament.
That's right. Yeah. But yeah, he goes in, he makes the layup, and it was literally the first points he scored in the game.
Yeah.
But me and my dad got real excited for it. So obviously, I'm rooting for St. John's at this point now. Obviously, they got to play Duke next. That is a tall task. We talked about this region being the most difficult region in March Madness.
Yeah.
Sure enough, it looks like it's going to be, and St. John's is going to have their toughest game of the year. And they'll basically have to win that game to have a chance to have a rematch with UConn or Michigan, or they play Michigan State. That one I'm very much looking forward to. I think they're playing on Friday, if I'm not mistaken. Either way, very much looking forward to that. I did have Florida losing in the Elite Eight. So for my bracket, them losing isn't the worst thing.
Yeah.
It could have been worse. I could have had him as my champion. I wasn't gonna do that. But ultimately, I kind of went and I had him losing to Houston, so I put Houston in my Final Four. I did have St. John's losing this game to Duke.
Yeah. Yeah.
I picked Duke to be my champion. For the sake of my bracket, I need Duke to win. But for the sake of my dad and for the sake of who I'm rooting for the rest of the tournament, I really hope St. John's wins. Because that'll be fun to watch. That team came alive in the second half. Just don't let the game come down to the free throw line.
Yeah. Yeah.
If they let the game come down to the free throw line, they're screwed. St. John's is not a good free throw shooting team. There was a point this year where they were shooting barely 50% from the line as a team. That's atrocious. So, that's something that Duke can easily take advantage of late in the game if St. John's has a lead and they foul to try to get them to the line. They've looked better of late, but still, like it takes a lot to be shooting 50% from the free throw line as a team for the year.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. There's been some upsets. Obviously, there are some teams that are still alive that we would not have necessarily expected. Just looking through here, we saw, who we got left. The sweet, the East bracket kind of looks as we all thought it would.
Yeah.
We kind of all figured it would be Duke and St. John's.
Yeah.
And then Michigan State and UConn. That was basically what everybody expected.
Yeah.
The South is a mess, obviously with Florida losing there now. BYU losing to Texas in the first round. I kind of looked at that game and immediately was like, I don't like BYU. I was like, I'm reading through the stuff and who they played and everything. I'm like, I don't like BYU. I'm like, I don't know who I'd pick, but I don't like BYU. I picked them anyway, and sure enough, they lose. And then Texas beats Gonzaga. How many times have we heard Gonzaga losing early in the tournament as a high seed?
Yeah.
I mean, it's to the point where it's getting to be too much.
Frustrating, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely it is. Then you have Tennessee upset Virginia. Tennessee, I think, is a good team. I don't think people give them enough credit. So in a way, I did pick. Actually, I picked Tennessee to beat. Oh no, that's my dad's bracket. I was looking at his. I was about to say, I'm pretty sure I picked Virginia. Uh, um, no, he actually has Tennessee in the Elite Eight. Nice, Dad. Um, oh wow, I don't know if you saw Shefty report this, but JSN just got a huge extension like 2 seconds ago.
Well, that's yeah. I mean, some of this.
Four for 168. Wow.
Yeah. So those
Um,
are some things that we will be discussing coming up here with NFL free agency and where it's at. But to go back to the bracket, my East, just beautiful. And so, love my East, born in the East. There you go.
I
But
went perfect in the second round.
so I have Duke.
I missed two in the first round.
Yeah, my Duke, St. John's. Okay,
Oh no,
so
that was his. Hang on.
so I'll go back.
Sorry.
No, you're good. I'll go back and I'll look at.
Oh, I am perfect in that bracket. Completely perfect.
There you go.
Look at
So
that.
I had Duke, TCU, St. John's, Kansas. I had South Florida, which was wrong. Michigan State, UCLA, and UConn. So I was right on every game except for Louisville, South Florida. And now I have every one of the four of the East correct. Duke, St. John's, Michigan State, and UConn.
Who'd you pick? Who'd you pick in those two games?
I picked Duke and UConn. I really want St. John's, but
See, I got Duke,
Yeah.
Michigan State.
yeah,
I want St. John's too. Like I want to see St. John's UConn. I think that's the matchup everybody wants to see.
Well, and the thing
Because St. John's is going to be the freaking road team when they beat them twice this year and won the Big East
Right.
championship.
right. They've beaten
And
them
they're
twice.
a 5 seed.
Right, they've beaten them twice.
That makes sense.
They beat them by 20 in the championship game, so of the Big East. So then,
I mean, to be fair, the game they lost, they got blown out. But
yeah,
you
but
know,
they
they beat them
still
twice.
bounced back and beat them twice. So I had Florida. Let me see what I had here. I had Florida, Clemson, so I got the Iowa wrong. I had Vandy, Troy, so I got the Troy wrong. I had VCU. I had Illinois, I had Texas A&M, and I had Houston. So I had two wrong in the South, and then I was totally wrong. I was totally wrong about the SEC rematch. So Iowa, Nebraska, I didn't have, and then VCU, Houston. It's Illinois, Houston. So Houston needs to make it out of the bracket for me, and I'm golden. So my
me too.
My South bracket's a little dirty, but my West bracket.
This one's not pretty for me.
So I had, who did I have here? So I had Arizona, I had Villanova, Utah State won that game. Wisconsin, I tell people this every year. If I pick them to win, they lose. If I don't pick them to win, they'll make me pay for at least typically 2 games. Maybe 2 games, maybe 3 games. So
you picked them to win.
So I picked them to win, which I'm totally fine with. Only 1 game. So they did not win. They did not win.
I had them into the Sweet 16.
No, I won't. I won't do that.
I really liked that Wisconsin team.
Yeah, I won't. I don't trust Wisconsin with anything when it comes to the tournament. So whatever. I picked them for 1 game, but then I picked Arkansas. That was correct. And then Texas came out of this thing going like crazy. I picked BYU.
I do regret not picking against BYU. Just looking at the numbers for them and looking at who they played and whatnot, I really did not like that team.
Yeah.
I don't know what, maybe part of it was like, I don't know if I really want to pick Texas or whatever. I really don't like that BYU team. I mean, I didn't pick them. I picked them to lose in the second round, but.
Yeah.
And that's the game we both got wrong in round one. That's another one we both got wrong there.
Yeah, so I got BYU wrong, and then Gonzaga won their first game, but obviously didn't win their next game, and I had Gonzaga rocking and rolling through this thing, so I thought that they would
Yep.
make a run. They did not do it past one game.
Did you have Miami or Missouri?
So I had Miami,
I picked Missouri.
and I had Miami, and I had Purdue. So how my bracket looks right now in the West, Arizona, Arkansas, correct. And then I had Gonzaga, Purdue, which is Texas, Purdue. So that is incorrect. But I still think that Arizona, Arkansas game, even though I picked Arizona, I very firmly believe that Arkansas can win that game. And I've said that when I made my picks. Now, because it's John Calipari. Now, looking at the Midwest, I had Michigan, St. Louis, that was correct. Texas Tech, Alabama, that was correct. Tennessee, Virginia, that was correct. Kentucky, Iowa State, that was correct. So I was perfect into the round of 32 for the Midwest. And then I had Michigan.
Oh, real quick before we go to the Sweet Six, before the round of 32,
Yeah,
for Miami of Ohio,
yeah. Here goes
you got what you deserved.
Oh, my goodness.
They looked like they had no business being on the court with Tennessee. Just saying.
Well, listen. They got their first quality win of the season when they beat SMU. So I will give them that. Now,
And then they get blown out
and
by
then
Tennessee.
yeah, I mean I didn't have
They lost by 22.
yeah, I mean I didn't have them winning. Hey, they lost by just about as much as UConn did against St. John's, and St. John's.
Yeah,
was
exactly.
So
Exactly.
so
So what are we doing, committee?
right. So Michigan, Alabama, I had, and Virginia, Iowa State, which is Tennessee, Iowa State. So when you look at the brackets, my East is perfect. My South needs Houston. My West is 3 of 4. And my Midwest is 3 of 4. So I'm 4 of 4, 3 of 4, 3 of 4, 1 of 4. So I mean,
Well, your Final Four is still alive.
my Final Four is alive except for Gonzaga.
Oh, you had Gonzaga in the Final Four.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I obviously I didn't pick Florida in the Final Four, which was nice, but I got Houston and the other three number one seeds.
Because my thing is I don't trust Arizona, and so I mean not that I don't think that this year they could, and maybe this year changes my mind, but I'm in a place right now that I'm like, historically I can't trust Arizona, but can I trust them now? And like last year, I think when they had them and people were talking high about Arizona, I was like, no. I was like, I don't trust it. And then they went out and I was like, see? So, that's something else. But I do want to make note of something here as we talk about college basketball, because this has been one of the weirdest things that I've seen, but I'm not surprised when it comes to Syracuse. Not my hometown, the school. And that is the fact that when a coach gets hired, it says hired. And I have sources that I trust. And then we can talk about it. And then I can report. Well, yesterday, the report was out that Jerry McNamara is finalizing a deal with Syracuse. And if I know anything about the word finalizing, you go to NFL free agency or anything, it's like nothing's set in stone.
Mm-hmm.
You go and read the report and it says sometime, near future, eventually, like there's this like, it's going to happen, we think maybe soon. Sometime soon. And I kept looking at my dad going, Dad, I can't say it. So all these places were saying it. People like ESPN saying it, Sports Illustrated saying it, this and that. And I'm like, yeah, well, they've taken some of my information before. So I would appreciate the courtesy of putting my name on it. But I don't care who says it. Okay, people have said many things have been wrong. Remember when they said, Murph, I'm sure you remember this, but when there was a bunch of reports that Dan Mullen was the front runner, become the head coach of the Syracuse Orange football program, and then I reported that it would never happen, and then it turned out that he was never on campus, never interviewed for the job, was never a part of anything, and it's like, think about all those sources that were saying Dan Mullen's the front runner, and then you find out 2 months later, this guy's not even been talked to. I mean, the lies that come out there when it comes to media are vast and
It
wide.
seems like the Syracuse media literally just makes stuff up on a regular basis, and that's got me worried a little bit about this thing that's happening with possibly the basketball team.
Yeah.
I didn't want to say what it is because you haven't said what it is yet.
Yeah.
That may or may not happen,
Yeah.
but it's I guess it's a little concerning.
So the way that I worded my post that I waited all day to post, and I do it on purpose. So it's not, me being last to the party. It's me going, I've vetted
Let me get the facts.
I've vetted my sources, and none of my sources that I trust could say for sure where we stood. And everything that I saw was not giving me the, okay, this is good. And it was the wording. When a coach gets hired, like I interviewed Scott Cross of Troy right after they lost their game. And after I interviewed him, Georgia Tech hired him the next day. Maybe that night, but it was announced the next day. But the way that it was announced, it was clear. This is the guy. And you're like, okay. Syracuse, this could be the guy maybe at some point we hope, I think that someone said, but there was a thing, but then it didn't, yeah. And you're 100% right about the thing that you said before that I won't repeat, but yes. It seems like there's a lot of, you were right about that. It's almost all the time. So this is how I worded my post. Because I can't say something that I don't know is true. And if you don't like that, well, I'm serving God, not you. This is what I wrote. This is the right move. Jerry McNamara was part of the only team to win an NCAA tournament title in Syracuse men's basketball history back in 2003. He then guided the Orange to back-to-back Big East championships in 2005 and 2006. So Jerry knows the quote-unquote Syracuse standard. Why did I say Syracuse standard? Because it's something that Adrian Autry brought up, that we have to get back to that standard. So that's why I wrote it the way I wrote it. Getting back to what I said. To then learn under Hall of Famer Jim Boeheim as an assistant and help guide student athletes to NCAA tournament berths as a member of the coaching staff showed his translation from player to coach. Then he took over his own program as the head man at Siena. In 2 seasons as head coach of the Saints men's basketball program, Siena went from 14-18 to 23-12, which included winning the MAAC tournament and going to the NCAA tournament for the first time since 2010, and playing top overall seed Duke to a 2-possession game. Siena was 15-14, 17-15, and 4-28 in the 3 seasons before Jerry, with 4-28 being the season right before he took over at Siena. So he turned 4-28 to 14-18 to 23-12. Syracuse needs someone who knows the history. Check. He's a part of it. Knows the Northeast. Check. Grew up in Scranton, PA. Doesn't see Syracuse as a mere pit stop but a destination. Check. He's chosen Syracuse more than once. This has been the only path, in my opinion, for a long time. He's shown he can lift Siena from the basement. Who better to raise the orange banner once again? He doesn't belong anywhere else more than home. The new era for a city that loves their hoops can be spelled in 4 letters. GMAC. It's about time. The reason why I wrote what I wrote, the way I wrote it, is because there's nothing set in stone. No corroborated story, no guarantee, just a whole lot of people and a lot of clickbait. But when you click on it, I've never seen anything written like this. Copy and paste how I feel about other Syracuse stories, where it's like, wait, so this is not but it's, I've clicked on Syracuse titles before and gone into the body of the story, and the title misled the entire story. Dino Babers calls out staff, and then you go and you read it. There's no quotes. There's nothing negative. It's just, gotcha, another click. I don't do that. I don't do that because I don't believe in dishonesty. Not at micro level, not at a macro level. So I'm not reporting that Jerry McNamara is for sure the head coach because I have no trusted source of the multiple that I've gone to that can literally tell me it's done. So, Murph, I'd love to get your thoughts because how I worded what I said was echoing sentiments I've had for months, which is this is the move to make, in my opinion. But in that body that you just read, never once did I say, I confirm, it's done, the door's shut, the paper is there, the ink is dry. Because this situation just seems too muddy to make sense of the clarity that some people are posting it as.
Yeah, at least as of right now.
Right.
Just based on that, you see stuff like this happen all the time in the media. That's how we end up with Arson Judge to the Giants, or Wilmer Flores and Zach Wheeler to the Astros, or to the Brewers for Carlos Gomez. Or, well, this one was done until he failed the physical, but Max Crosby to the Ravens.
Yeah.
This stuff happens all the time, folks. Where stuff gets reported by the media because they want to be first, and they don't have all their eggs in a row, or they don't have all their ducks in a row, and the story ends up not being true. Bob Nightingale reported that the Mets were signing Trevor Bauer before Trevor Bauer even posted his video. And he flat out said he would announce who he's going to. So first of all, I hate Bob Nightingale. I think he's one of the worst reporters in baseball. But, folks, this happens.
Yeah.
It happens a lot. So just because the media is reporting this, I trust you. You have sources inside Syracuse Athletics. If those sources cannot confirm this yet, this is not done. This is the same thing as Arson Judge. And yes, I'm saying Arson Judge because John Heyman made a typo that was hysterical.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where you have to wait until you have truthful sources.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. You and I both went to school for media. What is the cardinal rule of being in the media? Report the truth.
Yeah, that's what it's supposed
Have
to be.
sources that tell you if something is true, that you trust. You can't just assume something's true because one random reporter made up a story or has a source that's not trusted that told him something and he didn't get any confirmation. That is how we end up with these situations.
Yeah.
So to be fair, yes. Is this probably going to happen? My gut says yes. It makes too much sense for it to not happen. However, this is not confirmed yet. I saw it yesterday and texted you.
Yeah.
And what did you tell me? My sources cannot confirm it yet.
Yeah.
As soon as I heard that, I was like, okay. Then this is not done yet.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, and I appreciate the respect, but I mean, to me, I sat with my dad and I said, Pop, I was talking to him on the phone. I go, Pop, I can't do this yet. And then I went to the house and we were sitting there eating dinner and we talked about it. I was like, I can't do it yet. And then we were watching the St. John's Duke game or St. John's Kansas game. And I'm like, I don't feel right. He goes, what does your heart say? Like, what is your gut telling? Like, where are you at? And I said, I feel like I got to write something, but I can't write that I'm confirmed. And the thing is like, yeah, if it ends up happening, there's idiots out there. You're the 47th person reported, man. You never do the things. And it's like, bro, because the other 46 people, 42 of them might have just saw it and then went, oh, I got to put it out here.
Mm-hmm.
I have to be able to concretely, if I can't be 100%, I got to be 99. And if I'm not, because some things in life are not 100%, I mean, I got to be 99. And if I'm not 99, then I'm not there. Listen, I've known Jerry for a very long time. I've known Jerry since I met him in 2008. And him and I have done interviews since 2011, 12. We're in 2026 right now. I mean, I met the guy almost 2 decades ago. I've interviewed the guy for over a decade. I was at his press conference in Albany with Sienna. I changed my entire day to drive to Albany to be with him and show him support and sit in the front row and be right, hi Jer, what's up? Or the second row, because I think his parents were in the front. So, I mean, for me, I can't do something unless I'm really confident. And when it came to the director of athletics for Syracuse, I vetted. I saw, I prepared, and I vetted. And when I vetted, I was like, okay. And then when Brian Holdson, the South Florida coach, I vetted and told people he's not coming. He took his name out. He said no to Syracuse. And some people flipped out on me, went nuts, did what people always do where they go, well, your sources, Dan, who are they? And I'm like, I'm going to tell people.
Never reveal your sources.
Yeah, I'm going to tell people this one more time. If according to my sources makes you butthurt, then you're an idiot. And I'm going to tell you why. There's 2 things that you have to understand. When I say according to my sources, I'm saying I trust these people and I'm protecting them and they're providing me information and I'm leaving them anonymous. That bridge of trust will get me information, hopefully for the rest of my life, which I will then pass on to you, so shut up and like it. And the other side of that is, if I were to tell you my sources, I lose that bridge. I break that trust with that person and or people. And if other people find out about that, then that's a ripple effect. Now I lose more people, potential sources for the future, just so that you can feel good for 5 seconds and then you're on to the next thing. I will never give up my sources because that is not something that I do. Trust is important to me. And I tell people this all the time. You either want the information or you want the name of the source. But I can tell you this now because the statute of limitations of some things, I'm not going to tell you who. But when some people question my sources, they were the head coach of the program. They were the position coach of the program. They might have been the parent of the child. So I just find it funny that some people they see sources and they get triggered and they freak out. And they're like, who is it, Dan? And it's like, if I told you, then they wouldn't be a source. And this is how life goes. Tell me. Somebody breaks and tells you, and that person goes, thank you. And then they walk away and they go do something else, and they've already forgotten because their attention span is 0.00000001. And now you've lost your sources for some random stranger that could give 2 you-know-whats about it, and they're on to the next thing. When I'm going through this stuff, 3 things happen when I put out breaking news. It gets buried by other media, hoping that nobody sees it so they can take credit. They take direct credit. Or it's scrutinized, and I'm challenged as a broadcaster, as a journalist, and if my company is worthy. Those are the 3 things that happen. If you go back through history and look at all the information I put out, when I break a story, 3 things happen. He's got to be lying because he's not a trusted source, which is hilarious because when have I lied? We're going to bury it and hope to God nobody sees it, or we're just going to outright steal it. Those are the 3 things that happen. There's never a good job, Dan. Well, I shouldn't say there's never a good job, Dan. There's a good job, Dan, that's coupled with all this other stuff. So when I was growing up and I'm young in the business, I would put out this information with a big smile on my face. I'm like, Murph, I just got all this stuff. This is awesome. This is great. I'm about to put it out. And I put it out, and I'm thinking, this is going to be amazing. It's going to boost up my company. It's going to do all this stuff. What actually happened was it stressed me out. It frustrated me, and it drove me nuts. How could people be taking credit? How could people be questioning me? What are they going to do when I'm right? I know my source. And now you go all these years later, and it's like when I go to put out breaking news, I'm like, okay, you're going to do this good thing for the community, and they're going to go friggin' ballistic. But it's the truth. And Brian Holshin was a prime example of that. I put out there, he ain't coming. And I didn't read the comments. They came in immediately, and some of them were just friggin' nasty. So I would see a little bit, and I'm like, I'm not finishing that one. And then I just stopped reading. I don't even know how many comments were on there. But it's amazing to me, Murph, that I went from becoming and working my tail off to be the source of information instead of trying to go find it. And then putting out all this information, being accurate, being consistent, and realizing that there's a better chance it will get stolen, buried, or questioned more than somebody will go, hey, thanks. And I just find that wild. And the sources that people trust are the sources that have stolen from me. So even if you hear it from them, I guess you're welcome. So I just, you and I were taught what it was supposed to be, but it's just like this stuff with Jerry. Like if Jerry called me himself and I'm like, I can confirm it, and I put it out there according to my sources, stolen, challenged, laughed at, ignored, buried, even if it came from Jerry himself. And it's just wild to me.
Yeah, man, it's I never understood why people in the media are so ruthless. It's I mean, I guess maybe it's part of the reason why I haven't really felt the desire to pursue it. Doing what I do now and obviously I had my chance, but then COVID happened. I had a job lined up with Fox 56 that never happened because of COVID and never was able to make my way back in. And, now here I sit 5-6 years really removed from any sort of media job. And, we do this on a weekly basis, which is my foot that stays in, and I always enjoy it. And I'm grateful for the chance that we get to, for what we get to do. And, if anybody ever needs a demo reel of like hosting working on a podcast or something like that, I have it. But for me, I see this and I see how ruthless it is. I even see it from the big media guys that I look at for football and baseball.
Yeah.
Like your Adam Schefters and your Jeff Passons and your Ken Rosenthals and, not that he's doing it anymore, but Woj and, for the NBA. These guys, I don't necessarily know if I saw it from them, but it seems like they all compete against each other.
Yeah.
It's a race to see who can put it out first. Typically for me, I look at that, trade deadline day for baseball, free agency, stuff like that. We saw, Schefter tweeted the JSN extension news. It's something that I have notifications set up for Schefter, for Passon, for Rosenthal, for I think Anthony DiComo from the Mets. I got a few others that I'll get notifications from, just because for me I know they're the top guys. Like I know when they put it out, for the most part it's going to be right. And then, they're occasionally wrong, like we talked about with Arson Judge, and the Wilmer Flores non-trade back in 2015, and some other stuff that ended up not being true, like the Trevor Bauer signing with the Mets news.
Yeah.
I do firmly believe it is more important to be correct than to be first.
Yeah.
Look, if you got the sources and you're accurate and you're first, even better.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen you be first to stuff before anybody else gets a hold of it, and that and like I said, when you report it, you're accurate. I've seen you be first plenty. And then they say, oh, we're the first to report this, that, and the other. I'm like, why does it seem as though the Syracuse media just, you know, doesn't feel like doing any work on their own? They just say, hey, Dan reported this. Let's just steal what he said.
Yeah.
Word for word.
3 days later, breaking news. 5 months later, breaking news. And I'm like, breaking news? I said this on Saturday. This is Tuesday. But, I mean, if I've learned anything about life, I've learned that why you got into something.
I mean, weren't you? I'm pretty sure you were one of the first on Fran when he got hired.
Yeah, I mean, when Kyle McCord came, there was two of us talking about it. Fran, I was like, people do not understand the weeks, the hours, the clock I kept when it came to Fran. And with the whole thing. I was the one that said Dan Mullen's not coming, and people went nuts. And then I went, he didn't even interview for the job. Like, are you going to all of these sources that wasted your time for 2-3 weeks? And are you telling them, like, excuse me, why'd you lie to us? And I mean, serious, Dan, that's why I'm careful when it comes to Jerry. That's why I'm careful when it came to Brian Holston. That's why I'm careful when it comes to any other names. There was another name that was brought up with Syracuse's job that I know about, that this guy could have potentially gotten the job before Jerry, but something fell through. So there, it stands to reason there's Brian Holston, another guy, and then Jerry, if Jerry gets the job. So that Jerry wasn't the first choice. And so, I mean, this entire...
Well, I think the game against Duke helped his case.
Right. Well, see,
I don't think that's any question.
No, but what Syracuse needs to have somebody who loves the city, loves the team, understands the team, isn't looking to
teaches the guys how to play basketball, maybe.
Right, isn't coming here to leave.
I saw one game.
Yeah.
What happened in that one game? They stopped playing their game when they were up.
Yeah.
And started playing careful, started playing safe.
Yeah.
And what did they do? Who did they play? I don't remember. Was it Virginia?
It might have been when you came up.
So then I should have known better. I should have known better than to pick Virginia. Because I did not think Virginia was that good watching that game.
But
that was one of the worst performances by a basketball team that I have ever seen. And I understood why there were fans that were chanting for Adrian Autry to get fired. I completely understood. And this was coming from somebody that hadn't watched the Syracuse game all year, just knew what you've told me about them.
Yeah.
I get in the building, I watch the team play, and listen, I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm, the best basketball analyst in the world. Mm. I know basketball. I played basketball for a lot of my life. I coached basketball for a couple of years. So I understand. I know the game. I get the game. That looked like a team that had, number one, no pulse. Number two, didn't know what the heck to do. And number three, stopped playing their game and started playing the other team's game. When you start playing the other team's game, that is when you lose games.
Yeah, because the best you can be to that team is second best to what they do because it's what they do.
Correct.
So, but... I remember getting in the car. Murph gets in the car. He puts his belt on. He goes, everything you said about that team was true.
100%.
I was like,
it was awful.
Listen. A lot of talent, but they didn't put it together. And I asked the guys in the beginning of the season, the middle of the season, end of the season, I kept asking them, why? Why is it not coming together? And they kept going, I don't know. And I was like, well, if you don't know, I don't know. I mean, you're here. How do you not know?
You know what it is? I feel like they knew what the answer was. They just didn't want to say it.
But the thing is like if you don't
because the answer's no longer there.
Right. And the thing is and the hardship is and the frustration is that this is the thing with Syracuse. The fans right now, not all of them, but there's fans that hate Jim Boeheim. Hate him. Hate his guts.
He won a national championship. What's the hate?
He went to a Final Four in 4 straight decades. Show me a coach besides like Kay and some of the other guys. Show me a coach, Izzo hasn't done it, that's gone to a Final Four in 4 straight decades. Roy Williams didn't do it. Like, show me a coach that's done that. He went to 5 Final Fours. He won one. I think the first one they went to in 87, it was a last second shot, right? In 95, 96, in that 96 Final Four that they made it to, they went to that championship game, and they were there. So they were the runner-up, didn't just make it to the Final Four, made it to the championship, runner-up, won it all, and then I was with them in 2013 and 2016. So, and I watched those runs, and I was with them on those runs, and I'm friends with the players that made those runs. So, I mean, I look at what he did, and then I look at, and then I go back to a few years ago, about 4 or 5 years ago, I'm sitting in the Dome. I'm next to the band. The student section's behind me, and they're chanting F.U. Boeheim. Not the F, though. But they're chanting, you Boeheim, you Boeheim, you Boeheim, the whole game, like in and out of the fans, the students, these kids that weren't even alive when he won the national championship. Oh, Boeheim! Like, shut your mouth of knowing nothing. You don't know anything. So shut up. I just saw a bunch of white collar mommy pamp, you know, she puts a little powder on my bum when I'm 18. Like, get yourself out of here, okay? Go to another school. Go cheer for, I don't know, learn something. Learn etiquette. Learn history. Jim Boeheim won over 1,100 games. There's only one coach who's better than that. And that's Coach K.
I was going to say, wasn't it like second all time?
Yeah, it's Coach K, who's arguably the best coach ever. When you put him up with UCLA and what he did at Duke, I mean, there's like 2 coaches that you sit here and you go, John Wooden, Coach K, then Jim Boeheim. So, I mean, reality is reality. Jay Wright won a couple championships, right? Dean Smith. I know basketball. And this is my city. And I understand my city. And I think about who can handle this city that sometimes acts like Philadelphia and sometimes is kind. And this city had one coach for 47 years. Then they had one coach for 3. They've had 2 head coaches in men's basketball at Syracuse University in 5 decades. And the fact that you can crap on a Hall of Famer tells me that you don't know basketball. But Jerry McNamara, if he were to be here, you want to boo the beloved? You want to spit on the championship? People love Melo. His son is on the team, not him anymore. But he comes in, Melo's in the arena. Oh, Melo! He's here! Oh! It's like they saw the Pope. So, Melo played with Jerry and Hakeem and Queth and Craig and Josh and Billy. Jerry knows how to take this city and put it on the map. Jerry knows how to take underrated and put it on the map. Jerry knows how to take disrespected and put it on the map. And Jerry did something to all the fans that said you don't want Jerry McNamara to be the head coach of Syracuse basketball. I will remind you of something. Jerry McNamara won a conference tournament this year. Did Syracuse? Jerry McNamara brought his team from the state of New York to the NCAA tournament. While Syracuse was busy watching, he was busy playing. He was busy coaching a team that was in the tournament that pushed not a number 1 seed, the number 1 overall seed, the top team in the nation of over 360 schools, the number 1 of 1 of 1 of 1. He pushed them all the way to the end of the game. Duke had to give them everything, and they lost by 2 possessions. And after the game, echoed himself repeatedly. John Shire, who I've talked to for many years since he became head coach of Duke, and talked to him after this game, said repeatedly, Jerry outcoached me. So you outcoached Duke and all their guys. Your players, who were nobodies, quote unquote, I don't believe, I'm just saying, because that's how people are stupid. These nobodies, these ragtag group, the Mighty Ducks of basketball, came into this tournament and almost blew up your bracket on the first day, in the first moments. It was one of the first games played. So when people say to me, why do you want Jerry? Dan, he ain't ready. My response to you is, there's a lot of teams that play in the state of New York. St. John's, Hofstra, and Siena made the tournament. Syracuse watched the tournament. Would you like to have a coach that was there? Or would you like to continue to have a team that's watched for 5 years straight? I'm not saying Jerry's going to do it in a heartbeat, but if he can do it at Siena, 4-28, then I believe he can do it at Syracuse. I'm not saying he's going to win the ACC. I'm not saying that they're going to be national champions day zero. But don't you think the person that won a national championship would know how to get there? Don't you think the person that's been training student athletes and going out and recruiting them would know how to do it, that's put a team together, that helped put a team together under Boeheim, that put a team together at Siena himself? Don't you think somebody that has constantly done nothing but prove himself can prove himself? So you can call him underrated. You can say that it's a bad move. You can say you don't want anybody from the Boeheim tree. What I'll say to you is Jerry McNamara has never once let me down, and I wouldn't anticipate he would do that. And I'm not talking about that he owes it to me. I'm saying from knowing the man as long as I've known him, I don't have a bad thing to say about Jerry. I don't. So, loves the city, chose the city as a coach and a player. If he were to choose it for a third time, take what God has given you on this path and appreciate it, because this is the coach that's not going to look around and go, I have a little bit of success, I'm going to go to Iowa now. This is a guy who would want to build. The question that Syracuse has to ask themselves, though, is if and when the actual paper is signed, sealed, delivered, and done, are you prepared to have a coach for the next 20 years? Because if Jerry has success, I don't think Jerry's going anywhere. But these are my feelings and my thoughts. I know my city. This is my city. Okay? So, what coach do you think? You think Brian Holson was going to come from South Florida to Syracuse? He was going to come from beach to snow. He was going to come from almost white sand to white snow. And he was going to be like, hey, 5 years from now, I'm going to be here. I'm going to be a grandfather here. Do you think that was going to happen? Do you think that there were people telling me, Dan, go get Rick Pitino. Come on, man.
Yeah, right.
And my response to those people is, please take your medication.
Believe in St. John's.
Please take your medication this morning.
He will retire at St. John's.
Right, because here's the thing. St. John's in the tournament, Siena in the tournament, Hofstra in the tournament. Why would Rick Pitino leave a basketball conference that doesn't have football, which means that the NIL money is not going to football? It means that he's getting the lion's share of the NIL money. It means he's being taken care of. It means he has carte blanche, probably, or close to it. Why would Kingpin, yes, I'm saying it because he's Italian and he looks like the Al Pacino of basketball and he wears white suits like the Kingpin. Why would the Kingpin leave his city to be taken over by somebody else? You're nuts.
Pretty sure he's born and raised in New York.
Yeah, but it's like, listen to him talk. When he won the game yesterday, you know what my dad said? When they won at the buzzer, my dad goes, look at his face. They won the game and he walked into like the shaking hands line. He had a face on that was like, yeah, we won. I knew it was. He goes, he's walking around like he knew this was going to happen. Like, I said, yeah, Dad, he's Italian. He's a friggin' gangster. That's who Rick Pitino is. They said Bob Huggins was gonna come here, and I'm like, clickbait. I mean, listen, if Jerry wants to come to Syracuse and Syracuse wants Jerry, I think a lot of people are going to sleep well I think 90% of people sleep well at night, and the 10 lunatics that probably belong in padded rooms, they're not going to sleep well tonight, Murph. But outside of that, I think we're going to be okay.
I think so too. And just to get back on the point about Rick Pitino, I was actually talking to my dad about this last night. It would not shock me one bit that when he retires, which I don't see him going more than another year or two. When he retires, it would not at all shock me if they hired his son from Xavier to be their next head coach.
Yeah.
I mean, look what Richard's doing at Xavier. He was at where was he before Xavier? Like Providence, maybe. I think it was Richard Pitino, his son.
His son was with Minnesota.
I think he was at Providence.
He was with Minnesota first, and then I think it was Providence. Well, let me think here. So you're talking.
Well, regardless, I'm pretty sure it was Providence.
Yeah.
He took him to the tournament.
Yeah, we're talking about Richard Pitino, Rick Pitino's son. He was Minnesota, New Mexico.
He was at New Mexico. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, and Florida International for a season.
Okay. He's a guy that I think would come into St. John's, and I think when Rick retires, and if his son's going to be the coach, he'll still be around.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like, he's not going to be on the coaching staff. He's not going to be on the bench.
The Kingpin...
But he'd probably still be a guy that'd be around.
The Kingpin will never give the city to anything to anything other than family or someone that has become family.
They don't have to, but it wouldn't shock me one bit.
The Kingpin will never give up the city to anyone who's not family, Murph. Say it.
Yep. So I will say this. I think when they hired Chris Mullen all those years ago, it took the program and kind of put them back on track to being, nationally relevant again. Because they really weren't nationally relevant for 10 or 15 years.
They haven't gone to the Sweet 16 since 1999.
Yeah. I mean, this is the first time they've been to I was one.
Yeah.
Actually, no, I wasn't even one yet. So, goodness, I hit the mute button just in time, so you guys didn't have to hear that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was not even one yet. The last year they made it to the Sweet 16. So I'm excited to see it. I really hope they beat Duke, man.
Yeah.
I really do. But I also think, as far as Syracuse is concerned, assuming this does happen and Jerry McNamara is the next head coach of the Syracuse Orange, I could see them going back to a lot of what they did with Boeheim. Maybe bringing that 2-3 zone back, playing Syracuse brand of basketball. It was kind of slow and steady for a long time. They won a national championship. I imagine he's probably going to go back to the roots and say, hey, let's do what we did, which won us a national championship. Why not? But I look at Jerry and I look what he did at Siena, and I think, man, he's traveling a couple hours west to a town that he knows all too well. He spent 4 years as a player. He spent all those years as an assistant.
Yeah.
He's the type of guy that's going to roll in. Everybody already knows him. So why couldn't that be successful? He took Duke to the wire. Duke. Granted, Duke probably took that game a little lightly. They took it out on TCU in the second round. Yeah. But he took Duke to the end.
Yeah.
Duke, of all teams. The number 1 overall seed.
The team that I watched win the ACC tournament a few days before in Charlotte, he took that team with the Boozer brothers. By the way, when people are like, Duke's without this guy and this guy, I'm like, I just watched Duke play for 3 days straight. I don't see a team that's like, oh, I miss my injured players. Duke could play with 4 guys. They'd be like, you know what? We'll play down 1 just to give you a shot. And Siena just did what they did the way that they did it. But listen, if it's done and he is the guy, and you boo Jerry in the Dome, I want you to put your house on the market and I want you to leave. 100%.
Fair enough.
100%. Get out. Yeah. Because I don't want to be Philadelphia North. Okay. So please just go. I mean, it's time. And I mean, it's just, I was talking about this over the weekend. I'm like, why are people so miserable? Is it because it snows? Is it because it's cold outside and it rained for the last 2 days? Like, why? What are you mad about? Like, life is good. Okay. Life is beautiful. Jesus is real. God's watching over you. The Holy Spirit's got your back. Sometimes you got to bite your tongue. Sometimes you got to think about your words. Sometimes you got to sit down and breathe. But it's going to be okay. But I'm not going to accept people crapping on Jim Boeheim. Okay? Because the longer you get away from his history, the dumber you get. And please just stop. It's not acceptable. It's not okay. And it's just funny. They couldn't wait for Boeheim to leave. And then since he left, it's like, why can't anybody make us win? It's like, wait a minute. You ran out a Hall of Famer. And now you're screaming that you can't get back to the tournament when this dude brought you to the tournament his first season. And like, well, what did I figure out? That in like 47 years, not including the COVID year, Boeheim didn't make it like less than 10 times. It was like something astronomically ridiculous. And I'm sitting here and I'm going, he made all these Final Fours. He made it to the national championship game more than once. He won a national championship. Like, let's be real. Dickie V, who I appreciate you, Dickie V, and I'm not saying this in a negative way. I'm just bringing up Dickie V said going into the NCAA tournament in 2003, he said, he paraphrasing, but he did say this conference. He said the Big 12 will win. Like somebody from the Big 12 is winning the NCAA tournament. Syracuse beat 4 of them in the 6 games that they played to win the national championship. Syracuse beat 4 Big 12 schools by themselves to get to the national championship. They beat Oklahoma State, Oklahoma, Texas, and Kansas. And I was like, keep saying Big 12. That's cool. I'm all right with that. TJ Ford was considered a better player of the year candidate than Carmelo Anthony, and Carmelo beat him straight up. So, I mean, listen, I come from a city where respect is not given, it's earned. And even when it's earned, someone trying to steal it. And even when it's earned, somebody's going, no, they don't want to give it to you. So if I know anything about my city, we are gritty. We are blue collar. Sometimes we're ornery because it snows. But I love
just a little.
I love this city. I love these people. I believe cooler heads prevail. And I want to believe that more than 3 of us in the media tell the truth in Syracuse. So maybe that means we got to get some people coming in. Maybe it means we got to shift some people out, move some people around, take the old baloney off the shelf and put some new baloney on the shelf. So we'll take a step aside for a fast break. When we come back, man, I'm in it today. So when we come back, we will talk about NFL free agency. I'm just telling the truth. And as we get ready for what's coming up here, folks, the hope, in my opinion, is Jerry McNamara. But until I can tell you, because remember, yesterday people were going nuts. Jerry! And they woke up this morning with no confirmation, and now people are starting not to believe it. If I could have wrote it on a napkin and just said, tomorrow morning, if it's not, then people are going, why do you think I haven't confirmed it yet? Because if it ain't done, it ain't done. Okay, folks? I learned as a businessman, you don't celebrate partnerships until they're signed and you've received the first check. So I wait until I know no. Because if you celebrate, even if it sounds really good, it doesn't always mean that it comes through. So we'll follow, we'll monitor, we'll have fun, and we'll be back right after this.
This is Jim Dispenza, owner of Game Point Sports Complex. You hear the same story across any sport that kids play and any sport that adults play. There's never enough places to play. That was definitely true with volleyball, definitely true with basketball. It could be cheerleading, it could be field hockey, which is what we're seeing now. Every sport has a lack of places to play, and I think Syracuse in particular is a place where it's really bad. Despite the fact that we've got a lot of athletic talent around here, we just seem to have not enough places for people to play, and they're going to different places. They're going to Rochester, they're going to Buffalo, they're going all different places because we don't have a place here, and I felt like that should change. This was a long project from planning all the way through execution to opening the doors. A lot of work went into it, obviously a lot of money, a lot of resources, and the dream always was kids being in the gym, having a good time. And I've always felt like sports is the most unfiltered joy that you can observe with people that people can experience, because it is fun, it is a sense of accomplishment, it's all of that wrapped into one thing, and so watching kids going up and down the court with big smiles on their faces has been just amazing experience. I'm looking forward to years to come of that same thing. We've taken the time to invest in multiple sports, and then what we're finding is the mere fact that we have a large, clean, well-lit space has opened a lot more doors for us beyond basketball, volleyball, pickleball. Now we're having some interest from cheerleading. We've got girls field hockey coming in, and then also there's quite a bit of room for spectators. We've got bleachers, we've got benches, we've got a concession lounge where people can get food and drinks. We're going to have multiple sports going at the same time, using every square inch of this place for what it was conceived for, which is basically people to come in, have a good time in the sport that they prefer. We manage each situation differently. Everybody has different ability to afford different things. Some are bringing 10, 15 people, some are just 2 people. I've had a lot of situations where it's a father shooting around with his son, it's a mother playing pickleball with her daughter or with her son, and then those situations come up and we work with people, and that's allowed us to have groups from 2 people up to 30 people and have some flexible pricing behind it. We're an organization that is here to work with the community any way we can, and I guess part of it is just making sure that we have the flexibility to put together a plan that makes sense regardless of the size of your group. So in order to book time, the best option is to go to our website, gamepointsports-syr.com. You can click from there and sign up for events, sign up for your own particular training, sign up for birthday parties, all of that.
Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
Hi, this is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge, and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating at 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and always online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, order anywhere, anytime at maandpaspopcorn.com. Stop in to get a tin at Ma and Pa's on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York to get your half-price refills for the rest of your life. Come to Ma and Pa's for your holiday gift giving for family, friends, employees, and clients. And remember, for fundraising and events, to call 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
This is Jim Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily, and we bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have at any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
And a welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. We appreciate you hanging out with us inside the Great Lakes Honda City studios. Great Lakes Honda City coming to you on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. They are open for sales and service Monday through Saturday. And, of course, they're open all the time by going to GreatLakesHondaCity.com. So make sure you head over there today. Much appreciation, much respect, and many thanks to Great Lakes Honda City for all that they have done here on Wake Up Call and everything that they've done in the community, including giving me vehicles that I trust, appreciate, and love to drive for the last decade plus. So very excited for all that is to come with Great Lakes Honda City. And I'm also excited to be bringing you my conversation here with Jack Stonehouse, which is going to be starting in just a moment. And we're going to keep Brendan on the broadcast as well as Jack comes in here so that Brendan and I can both speak with Mr. Stonehouse. And he is coming off of a fantastic pro day. Like I've said before, record setting for me when it comes to people that the scouts were outside. Like, I walked in, I thought I was getting punked. I was like, what's going on? Like, why is there nobody in the building? They said that this was pro day, and there's nobody here for pro day inside of the Ensley Center. And they're like, oh, they're all outside hanging out with Jack. So, I mean, am I surprised? No. Do I think it's amazing? Of course. Is this man humble enough to talk about it and, you know, to not give himself the credit? Yeah, he is. But I'm really, really looking forward to Jack Stonehouse. We know he's going to get drafted, okay? I know he's here picture in picture, but it's not something I worried about before, and it's not something I think about now. I said this past season, I wish his foot was an arm so the offense could take credit for the yards that he achieved. Jack Stonehouse here with us, Syracuse Orange alum, 2026 NFL Draft Prospect Punter, coming off of Syracuse's Pro Day. Jack, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing well, man. And I got to say this because I've been talking about you. I hope your ears have been ringing in a good way for the last bunch of days. But I said, not only is he talented, but I love his personality. You are unapologetically you. You just look comfortable in your own skin. And I think the best thing that I've learned from you over the years is to not care what people think or say. Be yourself. And if you're going to make a mark on this world, do it as who you've chosen to be and not what somebody else has chosen for you to be. Why are you like that? Because I feel like you're an inspiration, and I want to start there.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just kind of like, it's the best way to live, I think. Like, you don't have to worry about anything. You're just kind of yourself. And if people like it, they like it. And if they don't, then, I mean, that's just how it is. But I think just being able to wake up in the morning and just say, okay, I can be myself. Yeah. And living like that is just the easiest way for me, I guess.
And for you, I mean, figuring out like who you are, your personality, your character, just just what is you. How quickly did that come to you? Were you just like a little kid and do you feel like you're similar today? Obviously having learned more and have knowledge and wisdom, but do you see parallels with like, wow, I still have that kid spirit, or is it different?
100%. Yeah, I definitely still have that kid spirit. I think it was just so easy. Like growing up, I was always just comfortable, and that's just really what it was.
Yeah, that comfortability, you show it. I mean, you've been automatic when it comes to being out there and being a punter, going to pro day. And I said it in the intro here, Jack, I've never experienced that. I've covered Syracuse my entire 20-plus year broadcasting career. I have been on site on location covering Syracuse for the better part of 13, 14 years since I came back home. I've never been to a pro day where I walk in the building and there's no scouts, and I'm like, did it not start yet? And they're like, oh no, they're all outside with Jack. What did that mean to you that almost the entire NFL was staring at you while you were doing your drills for pro day?
Yeah, I mean it's really awesome, like that's kind of like what you work for. I've had the ability and like the opportunity to go and do like these pre-draft things, like the East West, the Combine, and then pro day. So it was kind of cool to like just sit out there and say, okay, like people are still interested after those other two events. So just being able to go out there, have a good pre-draft, and also like see all the other guys. Like after I was done, all of them went back. It wasn't like any of them left. They all went back. They got to see everyone else do their workouts and stuff.
I'm gonna say something to you that you were locked in. You were doing your thing. Syracuse University did not allow the media to cover your part of pro day. I think that was a mistake. We were not allowed outside to watch you. So what did we miss?
Yeah, I didn't even think about that, but it was good. I put on I think I did around like 28 punts. I hit them all well. I showed that I could pin them inside the 5, pin them inside the 10, or flip the field if you're backed up. So I got the opportunity to showcase everything that I wanted to show, like maybe at that East West or the Combine, where if I didn't do something well, I was like, okay, I need to pin that and I need to do that well. But really just going out there and saying, okay, this is like the last thing before the draft. Like you want to leave a good impression on these scouts or coaches, and really just show like, hey, you have the ability to go play in the league. So this is your last showing.
How do you keep your poise, your focus? I mean, you can't control the weather. You're outside. You don't know what it's going to look like. And everybody's staring at you. There's not, this isn't the Combine where there's a bunch of punters, or the East-West Shrine Bowl where there's going to be other guys there. This is like, we've come here to stare at Jack Stonehouse and see if we see what we like. Bring me into the poise, the mental fortitude, the toughness you had to handle a moment like that where you were in the spotlight at Pro Day and all eyes were on you.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is like when you go out there, it's kind of like, I felt like it was like a game. But in a sense, like I kind of felt more confident that everyone was out there watching and just basically staring. Like I think that's a good problem to have, right? It's better to have all of the people staring at you rather than just one person or two people interested. So I kind of took that as like a good thing, used it as confidence, and said, okay, they're all out here. Let's kind of like put on a show, and at the end of the day, like, I don't get nervous for games, but I would say like I'm more nervous when I go out for a game. That was kind of just like, all right, I have my mom, my dad out here. I'm just gonna go out there and hit the ball as far as I can.
Yeah, and like you have to have this confidence, right? You have to have this just peace about you. How did that develop in you? Was it something you feel like you always had? Did you have to teach yourself to do it? Because you take a couple breaths, that ball comes to you, and then it's time to go to work. So bring me into just where that comfort, confidence, just how do you relax when you know it's on me?
Yeah, just doing it for so long. I keep on saying this, like when you go out there, it really is just muscle memory. It's not in practice, you're standing back there, you're like, okay, catch the ball, mold the ball, take your steps, blah, blah, blah. But then when it's game time, or like when you're trying to do something like a pro day, it just has to come, like in our position, it just has to come naturally. You just have to know that what you're doing is correct, and what you're doing you have to be confident in. So just the years of doing it, obviously growing up playing all different sports, all different positions, it just like you just kind of get in that zone, and you're not even really thinking about it. You just know what you have to do, and you go out there and try to do it to the best of your ability.
Why do you love it? When you said it's muscle memory, it's repetition, you've done it so much. Why do you just love this sport and love your position?
Yeah, I think it's a lot more like competition than other people think. It's when you go out there, you have your punt team, right? You have your snapper, you have your shield, everything. But at the end of the day, it's once you get the ball and everyone does their job, then it's on me to go out and flip the field, or pin them inside the 20-yard line, you know. So it's kind of like a challenge every single time. And that's kind of how my brain is wired. Like I need that, like, okay, like the pressure, like, you know, you only have one punt, or like one chance to go out there and punt this one time. So I like my brain is just wired. Like I really enjoy going out there and having that pressure and saying, okay, this could be my only punt of the game, or this could be one of 5 punts, but you don't know until the next punt. So just being able to go out there and like just enjoy actually playing the game, enjoying the pressure is like something that I love.
Well, and you're on the flip side, right? Because fans that are watching the game are like, well, if the punt team's coming out, the offense didn't do their job. But you're going out there going like, yeah, now I get to go do my job. So what's it like to be on the flip side of how a lot of people watch the game?
Yeah, I like to say, sure, maybe the offense did do well, but at that point we're on defense, right? We got to put the defense in the best position they possibly can be. So at that point, it's my job as, I guess, a defender to get them as far away from their touchdown as we possibly can.
When you and I spoke during the season, I was working on a movie, so I had to have a mustache and I couldn't have my goatee. You've been rocking the stash for a long time, Stone. Are we keeping it forever? Will it be an NFL stash?
I think so. Yeah, I think I'm going to keep it. Every time I shave, I just can't. I feel like I look like I'm 12 years old. So I need to have it. I can't do the beard. Like I really, I don't know why, but I don't look good with the beard. But the mustache I'm comfortable with, and I think that's going to stay.
Jack Stonehouse here with us on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. And on Mondays, typically throughout the broadcast here, we have Brendan Murphy as my better half here. So, Jack, Brendan's a big Jets fan, and I'm going to let him, if Brendan, can you hear us?
I can, yes.
Okay, so, Brendan, I'm going to let you ask Mr. Stonehouse a question, if that's all right with you, Jack, because Brendan's somebody I've trusted in the business for a long time, and I don't know where he's going to go with this, if it's Jets related or what, but I'm gonna let him fire away, Jack. Is that all right with you?
Sounds good.
All right, go ahead, Brendan.
Hey Jack, how's it going, man? I mean, obviously it's a pretty darn cool thing to, you know, have a chance to get picked in the NFL draft. My team is one of those that'll probably be looking for a punter. I know we're definitely looking for a kicker. I think punter's probably one that we probably need as well. You know, special teams guys, I know it's tricky to get. You know, there's not all that many of them that get picked in the draft. So maybe my biggest question for you would be, you know, what would that mean to you to be one of, you know, we might only see 5, 6, 7 special teams players get drafted this year. What would it mean to you if you were one of those select few?
Yeah, great question. I think that like that'll be like it shows that like, okay, like all your hard work is paying off, right? But at the end of the day, like what I'm figuring out now is that like with those picks is like you have to get people from the front office, or you have to get people high up to really want to spend money on you, right? So your argument is like, yes, I can help this team, or hey, I would be a great fit for your guys' special team scheme. But at the end of the day, you know, you don't really know until it's over, right? So that was like a huge thing for me. Put your best foot forward during all this pre-draft stuff. And then you got to see like who really does need a punter. And I think about it kind of just like you're either going to be scholarshiped or a walk-on. That's how like I'm thinking about it. Like scholarship, obviously you're drafted, right? And then if you're a walk-on or a free agent, a free UDFA, then it's okay. You gotta decide what the best fit for you is at that point in time. Who do you go to that you go and compete and you go say, okay, I can go. I have the best chance to go win the starting job here. So that's kind of how I think about it. But obviously, I mean, getting picked is every kid's dream since they start playing. So that would be extremely awesome. And yeah, I mean, I'm just looking forward to it.
Jack, I don't think there's a world where you don't get drafted this year. What did the NFL scouts say to you at Pro Day?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot that they can and can't say. So I try to check in, say, okay, like where am I on the list for your guys' team? Because on one team I might be their guy, the guy that they want, and on another team I could be not even in the looks for them. So it's interesting to see that like there's so many different components that have to go into play for it to go perfectly. And yes, like I really do hope that I am drafted, but at the end of the day, I'm just gonna like let it take its course, and at the end of the day, we'll see here soon, I guess.
And for you, when you look at, you know, like you said, you look at who has a need in the research that you've done. Bring me into that side of it, of looking at 32 franchises and determining where you feel like maybe the necessity is there the most.
Yeah, there's been a lot of actually like punter movement in the last couple of weeks, like 4 weeks. So 4 weeks ago, the teams that I was sitting down and saying, okay, these guys might need a guy. Now it's totally different teams, right? So and now a lot of people are signing veterans because they say, okay, we can get this vet, like Johnny Hecker from the Titans just signed with the Vikings. He is a veteran guy. He's been doing it for I think 15 years. So that's obviously why we have agents, right? They go in, look at the contracts, and help explain it to me and sit down and say, okay, this could be a good one to go into and compete, or this could be a good one and say, hey, they might be drafting, you know? So it's kind of like things like that. Like the Vikings would be possibly a good place to go in and compete. And then when you say like, oh, this team's going to draft, you don't know until it's April 23rd or whenever the draft is. Like you don't know until then. So it's kind of just making the best push that I possibly can now, and just letting it ride.
And in making that push, after you get to go to the East West Shrine Bowl and the Combine, and then obviously Syracuse Pro Day, where almost every NFL team was there, you've been able to be around a bunch of these teams multiple times. Have there been scouts that have seen you in 1 or 2, 3 places that have come up to you when it got to Pro Day to say, good to see you again? Like, do you feel like you've built some relationships with some of these NFL teams?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, seeing these people just 3 times over the last 3 months, you feel like you know them. You sit at a table with them, and they just basically just like this, an interview. They just ask you questions, and they want to get to know you. They want to get to know you, right? They want to make sure they're not getting some weird kid or whatever it may be. So that they want to know that you go into the locker room, you're going to be normal, and you're going to go out and do your job really ultimately. But as far as that goes, like the 49ers, they came, that scout was there at East West, the Combine, and at Pro Day. So I got to talk with them. The Minnesota Vikings special teams coordinator and assistant were there. And I had known the assistant for a little bit because he almost coached me twice in college. So it was cool to like just be able to say, oh yes, we have a connection prior to this, and it also is cool now that you guys are a team that could be looking. So it is it's like familiar faces now. You know, it's not like I'm not walking up to them on a first name basis, but like you know who they are, and you know that they've been at all 3 of these places.
Yeah, I mean, and you've had the opportunity to go through these interviews. The Combine, which is another great opportunity and a great feat, right? There's so many players, so many positions, so many schools, and a finite amount of people that get invited. To have the NFL Combine where this is like the pinnacle, this is where the scouts are, it's on television, people are going to see you all over the world if you're at the Combine. Bring me into that experience of the drills, the workouts, the interviews, and just overall, because there's a lot of things that we don't see, and one of them is the interview process. So I'd love to get your overall take of kind of breaking down the Combine.
Yeah, it's cool. It's a lot of interviews, right? They want to really get to know you. They want to see how you respond to certain questions. So, but like as a player, you get to understand, okay, they keep on asking me maybe this question. Let's go out tomorrow at the Combine and say, okay, I can do this. Like I can show you I have the ability to go do this. So it is a lot of just kind of picking my brain about how I think about football and what decisions I make on the field. And maybe if they agree with that, then they do. And if they don't, then they say, well, this is how we think. And then it's okay, I can show you at the Combine or I could show you at Pro Day. So it's kind of like they're learning about you, but you're also learning, okay, this might be what this coach really wants to see. He might not be saying it, but you kind of catch along and say, okay, they want to see this.
Well, and I know I've talked to guys going through it over the years that some of the interview questions just come out of left field and they want to kind of catch and see maybe how fast your brain works or just to see if you're resourceful or just how your personality is. Did you have a question or two that stuck out to you where you're like, I don't know where this came from, but yeah, I got an answer?
It wasn't like out of left field, but I did get a lot more questions about like my family and how they punted or how they punt. So it was kind of like it was kind of trying to say like, okay, Jack, you hold the ball like this, like my drop. I drop it differently than everybody else in college football, but that's just how I learn, and that's just how my family does it. So like it would be like, oh, why do you do this? And like to me, it's like I've been doing it for 9 years, so like I don't even think about that. And like, but for them, they really want to know, like, okay, why do you drop it different than literally everybody else? So it was a lot more about that, and I really hadn't thought about it because in my mind I drop it normally, but it is different than what everyone else does.
You bring up the family, and I'll bring Brendan in here when we do rapid fire in a moment. But for those of you that don't know, you are the son of Sue and John Stonehouse. Your mom, Sue, played soccer at UCLA. Your dad was a punter at USC, went into the NFL, punted for the New York Giants. Your cousin Ryan, a punter for Colorado State, who's now in the NFL. Your uncle Paul punted at Stanford. So this is a bloodline thing. And when it comes to like punting and thinking about that, I think about soccer, so it makes sense with mom. I mean, this is in your genes. This is in your blood. And you just said, this is how we do it in the Stonehouse family. So if it's different for the rest of the league, hey, this is how we do it. This is normal to me. What has it been like to come from a family where this is not atypical? It's almost like if you weren't punting, Jack, they'd be like, what are you going to do with your life? So.
Yeah, exactly. It's cool because like you grow up and it's like, I had 3 siblings, so it was never like, oh, we're just going to go sit on the couch, right? We were always outside. We were always playing games. And I think that's just kind of like how that's what I was talking about. Like your brain is wired that way. Like our parents wouldn't have to ask us to go outside and play. We would just be outside and playing. That's just knowing that like you have 3 built-in best friends that can go out and play sports and not just like sit down and watch TV is like cool. So that's how we've always been. And it was like the unwritten rule, right? Like you have to go to college and you have to play a sport. Like my older sister started that. I wasn't going to be the one to not go to college and not play a sport. Younger sister played a college sport and my brother's playing right now. So it was kind of just like you go out and you do it. And we like to do that stuff. Like we built it on competition. That's how our lives work. Like competing against each other is like what we like to do.
Yeah, and in that competition, I don't think it's fair for me to say who's the best because I feel like you may pick yourself or you may, but when there is a family picnic, are there punting challenges? Is it like, hey, whoever can get it here gets the big piece of chicken? Like, is there something that the Stonehouse family does to make it interesting?
We actually don't do that. We should do that, honestly. We should do like sports to see who gets the best meal. But no, we don't do that.
I'm gonna say I think it needs to happen. Jack, what do you want the NFL to know about you? Like you said, you've gotten to meet a lot of these people multiple times. You built relationships. You've connected with so many. The combine got to put you all over the world. What do you want the NFL to know? Is there something else that you'd like to expand on before the draft?
Yeah, I think just one point that I always like to try to make clear is just like I just want the opportunity. I just want a shot, and to show that I can go out there and compete and do it at the highest level possible, right? That's why you start when you're young. That's why you practice day in and day out. So I just want the opportunity to go out there, show that I can compete and do it. And yeah, I mean, every day I work towards getting better. In college, every year I have gotten my average to be better. So I think that's something that I like to say a lot, just because it shows that, okay, I haven't reached my ceiling. I'm still learning the game of football. I'm still learning how to maximize in punting situations. So that would be kind of my go-to. Say, I just want an opportunity.
I'm going to say two things off what you said. One, you said you haven't reached your ceiling, but you and I both know that you've hit the middle thing at the Dome in Syracuse, and you were asked to stop doing that. And then the other thing that I would say is Jack Stonehouse beat himself at Syracuse. He set an all-time record for average yards per punt, and then he went ahead and beat it after he beat it. So he's number one and number two in Syracuse history, a history that included Riley Dixon, Rob Long, Sterling Hoffrichter. There's a bunch of guys that have come through. You worked out with Riley Dixon. What was that experience like for you, and how has Riley had a positive effect on you?
Yeah, for sure. I think bigger than he knows. I've gone out a couple times with him since I've been back and since he's been back. And I mean, when you look at it, like, Riley is the kind of guy that, like, I would like to be like. He's going in what, year 12? So he has the tools to do it. So when we go out there, I'm picking his brain and I'm understanding, like, okay, yes, this has worked for you, or this is something that I do well, or this is something that you do well and I don't do well. Maybe I need to learn that. And so when he goes out there, he's so smooth, and you can tell that he's been doing it for 12 years, right? And you can tell, like, when you take a step back, okay, I'm going out there and I'm trying to launch the ball as far as I can. He's going out there and he's saying, okay, I'm going to put the ball right here. And then he goes out and does it. So you can see, like, the different stages that we are in. And I just think that it's like, it's cool to have someone with so much experience say, hey, I'll see you on Thursday. Let's go punt. It's like, that's cool. That's a cool connection to have.
The pinpoint precision that you can have as a punter when there's elements outside, there's people running at you, there's different things going on. How, I know you said muscle memory and repetition and all that, but there's an innate talent that God put inside of your body that you've honed. How do you do what you do? I mean, I marvel at that. Like, I marvel at someone that can get a hole in one when they launch a ball from 417, feet away or yards away and all that. I mean, how do you do what you do the way that you do it? Because you make it look easy. But when you say, like, I'm going to put the ball on the 19 and I'm going to have it bounce and go out. I mean, how, Jack?
Yeah, I think that golf was a really good analogy. Like, you kind of know, like, when you swing your leg, let's say at 70% with the ball turned inside and down, you're going to get that end over end, kind of just like, not a flop shot, but I guess a flop shot, right? Like, you're just trying to get it on the green near the hole. Like, that's just kind of how it is. Like, it's experience, right? You go out and practice for a week so that on Saturday you don't think about it. You say, okay, I know I can go do this. That's what the week of practice is for. So when you have that experience and saying, okay, if I hold the ball at this angle, and when I drop it, it turns in just a tiny bit, and I swing maybe a little bit to the left, you're going to get a cross pull, and 9 times out of 10, you know where that ball is going to go.
Yeah. And I mean, for you, the last 3 seasons, you've been at Syracuse, you banked on yourself and came over from Missouri. I remember hearing the news and you stepping in, and I'm like, who is this guy? And now I feel like it's the total opposite. It's like, Stonehouse is one of those people that I think is going to represent Syracuse and his family and everything well as you step forward. Bring me into that decision and reflecting on it now that you are where you are, what it was like for you to say, I'm going to change the school I'm at. I think this is the right fit for me. Reflecting on that hindsight 2020 and what that domino effect has been.
Yeah, I mean, we're here. So everything that I've ever done in my entire life has led me to this moment right now. So obviously I'm very thankful. I'm very grateful to be in this position, right? But I just think that, like, looking back, right, like I was going into college saying, okay, I just want an opportunity, right? I just want the ability to show that I can go out and compete at the college level. Yeah. So it's kind of like I'm right back in the same situation that I was in 5 years ago when I started college. And then choosing to come to Syracuse is obviously one of the better choices that I've made in my college career. At that time, it was Coach Ligg. I knew he had NFL experience for coaching. He recruited me in high school. And really, I did feel like I was walking into a good opportunity to compete. When I was coming in, I would be at that time the 3rd punter on scholarship at that moment. So I was sitting back and I was like, I've never seen 3 punters on scholarship at the same time. Like, that to me is kind of crazy. But I trusted Coach Ligg. He said, come on, you're going to come in here, you're going to compete, and at the end of this, you're going to be our guy. So that to me was kind of like, okay, I got what I want. I got the scholarship opportunity. Now I have to go show I can go out, compete, and beat out the person that's here. So I really am in the exact same position that I was in 5 years ago, and when I was coming into Syracuse. I really wouldn't change a thing. And I think that over these 3 years, I've made the best connections that I possibly can to have people like you reach out and say they want to talk, and people on our football team that might have transferred are still here. So it's cool. The connections is crazy when you play football because you get to meet so many different people. And I think that is what you would call appreciating the game. I appreciate the game and what it's done.
Yeah. I mean, this is you're a reason why, I love doing what I do. So Jack, we're going to jump into rapid fire, not before I tell you that I realized that the Nightmare Before Christmas pajama pants that you would wear to interviews, it finally just hit my brain today. Jack Stonehouse, Jack Skellington. I don't know why it took me that long. I have no idea. But I was having a conversation about Jack Skellington yesterday, and then the Corpse Bride and all this other stuff. So, yeah. I mean, is he your favorite Disney character, Halloween character?
Honestly, you just connected those dots for me too. I didn't even think about that. I just wore those for that day. I don't even know. No, you just connected those dots.
Okay, so it makes me feel better that I'm like, wow, I don't feel stupid about this now. So Murph is still here with us. Murph will ask you a question in rapid fire that could be about any topic, literally anything in the world. I'll ask you one, and then you get to put us both on the hot seat. So Brendan, fire when ready. What's your question for Jack about any topic?
I'm going to keep it football related. Okay. Favorite memory with you on the field in football?
I think can I say 2? One was my first punt ever in college, and then my second one was the win against Miami when we all stormed the field.
That's awesome. I can respect that.
Yeah.
All right. And one of my favorite moments is Justin Barron after the season, last season, where the 2024 season, when he went to like an all-star type of thing, and he was there with Marlo Wax Jr., and the Sebastian, the mascot for the Hurricanes, came up, and there's a video of Justin going, "Hey, what's up, man?" And the mascot looks at him and goes, "I know you ain't forget us." So, that was one of my favorite parts. My question for you, Jack, if you took over my show and it was Wake Up Call with Jack Stonehouse, give me the 3 guests you would have on the show tomorrow morning. They could be living or deceased, and I want to know why.
Okay. I would say, ooh, wow, that's a good one, actually. First, I would say Alan Jackson, because
Great answer.
I like his music, and I know that my dad would have some questions for him too. And my dad ultimately made me start listening to him. So that would be the first person. Second person, maybe Kobe Bryant, just so I think his mentality, I mean, everyone knows that his mentality is insane. So I would kind of try to pick his brain a little bit.
Okay.
Third, maybe Coach Brown, just so you could see, like, from a I guess from a player standpoint, but at that point maybe I wouldn't be a player, but just see like the different angles that he looks at life.
How do you think a conversation would go with your personality and Fran Brown?
Outside of football.
Yeah, I mean, like if you were just sitting and they turned a camera on and you got to host the show right now today, how would that go? How do you feel like the back and forth would be?
Yeah, I think it would be good. I think he would maybe, like, I mean, he's more mellow, right? So if I was like out here, I'd be like energetic and stuff, and he might walk on and just be like, "Wow, that guy's like really energetic about what he's talking about." So, but I think it would go good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely, it's like he attacks things mellow, but you bring that high energy. What is your question for Brendan?
I would say, you said you're a Jets fan.
I am, unfortunately, yes.
if you could, for this draft, if you could have 3 players, must need them, who would you choose?
I feel like number one's obvious, but we're not going to have a chance to pick him. Would be Mendoza.
Yeah.
It's hard. It would obviously be hard not to say that. The problem is they have so many needs that it's like, where do you even go? I know Mendoza's not realistic, so maybe, like, I've always been a fan of Drew Aller at Penn State. I think he'd be a great development guy to get in the room, and maybe like a Carson Beck too. Man, I mean, they need help all over the place. I mean, it sounds like if they stay at number 2, Arvell Reese will probably be the pick, and I do like him a lot. I think he can really play, and he could be that next elite edge rusher in the NFL. I don't know. You know what it is? My brain is still so, locked in on the March Madness and the fact that, MLB opening day is on Thursday. So, the problem is the Jets have been so bad that, like, I almost forget about them. Because you stop paying attention in October when they're 0-7, and you're like, all right, this team's not making the playoffs. I think, McNamara as a punter was okay last year. I'd love to see us get you in the building, man. I think that'd be fun. I think I think you could beat him out for the job and be our punter for the next handful of years, however long that might be. And obviously there's a lot of great punters in the NFL, and you saw it in if you watch the AFC Championship between the Patriots and the Broncos,
Right.
how important were the punters in that game?
Right.
So, having somebody that can boot it and hit it where they want is incredibly important. Although you might be on the field an awful lot with the way this offense looks like it might be.
Stoney and Gotham City. I like it. So, all right, Jack, what's your question for me?
I think last time I asked you why you did it. And this time I think I want to ask, if not this, what would you be doing?
I love the question. And I don't know if you know this stuff about me. I don't think you do. So I've been singing since I was 3. And I've written over 40 songs. So I would say musically, I've always said this. I was like, if I can perform just one time, my mom has a beautiful voice. So I'm like, if I could perform just one time on stage, like I've performed before, I've been out in public, but if I could do something on stage, I'd love to do it probably in Italy or Spain. And if I could have my mom come out, that'd be cool. My comedy, I love making people laugh. So that's always been, you and I are more similar than maybe Jack. And so I would say my comedy for sure. And, I've gotten to do more acting. There's a movie that's hopefully coming out this Halloween. I said I would never, ever write or work on a scary movie. And I got an email to be an extra in this thing. And I went out to this set and I got to play a role that I've jokingly said I'd love to do for 24 hours. And then they kept putting me with the main actor in the scenes. And I said something to him on the last day. And I was like, not only are we in the scenes together, but they keep having you and I like working together specifically. And he looked at me dead serious. He's like, there's a reason why they keep calling you back. And I was like, what? I kind of got chills. I was like, well, is that good? And so I'm hopeful that around this Halloween, you will get to see me in a movie that's probably going to make me cringe and not want to look at. But I've seen the villain. I've seen what this thing is. I'm not in, and here's the crazy thing. I'm not ruining anything by saying this. Of all the people that die in this movie, I don't die. So, I got a shot for the third one maybe, but I would say probably acting, screenwriting, music, comedy. It's all stuff that I'm trying to do more of now. But really what it is, Jack, is I think this world's shown me the negative that it can be, and I'm compelling myself to be a positive person in a negative world. And to go back to what I said to you in the beginning, kind of full circle, is you're one of the people that has taught me to just smile and love life. And that even if you're having a bad day or a rough moment, to just keep the controllables front and center and to just be you. I can't thank you enough for the example that you've set in my life. And I carry that with me every day.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. I appreciate that. What kind of music?
It's good. My voice that I've kind of honed over time, I didn't love country before, I do now, but I grew up on hip hop, R&B, and then classic rock. So I feel like I live in this R&B-ish classic rock world. There's a blend of the two, but I tell people all the time, my voice, there's a song called One Song Glory, and it's from Rent, the former Broadway show, and it's sung by a gentleman who's got kind of a Bon Jovi-esque way about him. That song really plays into my voice, so I would say I'm probably in the world of classic rock, somewhere in there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, awesome.
Jack, I'm going to have you on again before the draft because I just want to spoil myself and the people that watch and listen. But I can't thank you enough for this opportunity and this moment and for you just making time for me. You've legitimately been one of the kindest souls and hardest working people out there. And I feel very spoiled that I got the opportunity to get to know you and cross paths with you. But I'd like to think it's just the beginning. And I'm going to ask you this on the air. And because I might have already said it, but I want to know. I have a Hall of Fame that is surrounding me here in the studio. May I have a Stonehouse jersey that I can hang?
Yeah, we talked about that. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes, I will keep my word on that. Sorry.
No.
We did talk about that. I forgot about that.
Yeah, because I mean, there's nobody that deserves to hang in here more than someone that I really, truly have built a good friendship with and appreciate very much. So thank you for everything, and we'll talk again before the draft. And dude, I can't wait. I'm trying to see you be like the record setting. Like, this is the earliest somebody chose just do it, America, make it happen. But thank you for everything, Jack, and big time shout out to you and your family.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And yeah, thank you for obviously making this relationship a thing. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. It's my pleasure. I'll look forward to talking with you soon. Now we both know why Jack Skellington means so much.
Yeah.
Take care, brother. I'll talk to you soon.
Best of luck going into the draft, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Take care.
All right.
That coming once again from Jack Stonehouse here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. That man is like a gem among gems. He's just an awesome guy. So Murph, I wanted to have you be a part of that, and because Jack's just such an awesome human being, and I didn't want you to miss out on that. So thank you for joining me for that segment and having the opportunity to talk with him. What are your thoughts about Jack now that you've gotten to talk to him for a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I obviously I didn't know a lot about him. I just kind of know what you've told me and what, I've been able to see. So, getting to hear him talk a little bit about how, his family has been, doing this for a long time. I didn't, you said his father played for the Giants, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So, his dad being a, punter for the Giants for all those years. And, a lot of guys you see in the NFL have some kind of family history. In the game in some way, shape, or form, or at least in athletics in one way. So, obviously in the Stonehouse family, it runs pretty deep, but it's always pretty cool. And like I asked him too, like, you don't usually see a whole lot of special teams players getting drafted in the NFL draft. It's maybe half a dozen to 7 or 8 that get drafted every year. Like, you'll usually see the first kicker get drafted in, maybe later in round 5 into round 6, and then you see a handful more. I'm sure if his name, if he is, fortunate enough to get his name called and have the opportunity to get drafted, that's got to be pretty darn cool. Because it's not like you're a quarterback and you got, 14 quarterbacks that might get picked in this draft or whatever the case may be. Obviously that's a really important position, but you might have a lot of those getting picked. And I didn't just say punters. I said special teams players. That includes kickers and punters and long snappers. You see a handful get picked.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I think there's only ever been 2 picked in the first round, ironically, both by the Raiders. So one kicker, one punter. I think was it Ray Guy they picked in the first round as a punter, and then Janikowski as a kicker.
Yeah, I mean the Janikowski. It's so crazy too to think that Janikowski. I mean, in my head, he was gonna like punt in the NFL forever, but yeah.
I know he's been out of the league for a while.
Yeah, but no, Ray Guy, which is an interesting name that you bring up here. He was a first round pick. He was the first ever punter selected in the first round in the NFL draft, 23rd overall by the Raiders back in 1973, who came from Southern Mississippi. And he's a Hall of Famer. So shout out to him for that.
So, hey, I mean, the Raiders are known for making really bad picks. They got that one right. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it's better than they pick special teams guys better than they pick quarterbacks.
So does that mean we need to make sure that he goes to the Raiders?
Hey, listen.
I mean, he'll probably be working a lot. Like I said, if we got him on the Jets, he'd be punting a lot.
Oh no.
So, I imagine he'd be doing the same with the Vegas Raiders.
Yeah, no, I mean, Stoney, listen, he's one heck of a guy. He's a very humble guy, as you've seen, but I mean, he works hard and he makes it look effortless, and he just seems like he really enjoys life. And, you know, he's been a pleasure to talk to. The funny thing is, bringing up the movie with him, when I had to shave my goatee and keep my mustache for that movie that I was just talking about, when we did an interview during the season that I had alluded to, I went up to him and I had just a mustache. And I said, who wore it better, me or you, Jack? Because at that time, I had no choice. I had to do it. So, and I didn't like it. Like, it looks good on him. I don't like having just a mustache. It makes me feel weird. But
it's like me without a beard at this point.
Yeah, no.
I mean, I've had a beard for, God, 7-8 years, longer than that at this point. It's, you know, the last time I was clean shaven was, I think, was 2019 when I did that football broadcast for BRC 13 in Delaware Valley. I'm pretty sure that's the last time I was fully clean shaven.
Well,
but I also used to do just this. So I've had the beard for basically since COVID, realistically.
Yeah, I think for me,
it'd be weird to not have it.
Yeah. I think if I took my goatee off right now, there's many people I've met over the last 8 years that would be like, who are you? So, because I've had it since April.
It'd be like me too, man.
Yeah. I think I've had it since April.
I mean, you've had it almost the entire time I've known you.
Yeah.
In the very beginning, I think when I first met you, you were clean shaven. But, you know, it was very early on that that you had that. And, you know, basically as long as I've known you, you've had the goatee.
Yeah, it's been right almost it'll be 8 years in April, which is crazy. We're going to take a step aside for a fast break here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. When Murph and I spin back around, we will wrap things up with some NFL free agency talk. So going from a hopeful draft pick in the 2026 NFL Draft to going to what's going on in the NFL, Murph and I will bring that to you right after this. So please stay with us where sports meets that thing called life. Of course, we are always happy to be here with you. We thank you for being here inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, and we thank Great Lakes Honda City. We'll be back right after this. And now a message from Myers Creek Brewing Company, with locations at their Cazenovia Farm Brewery, Syracuse Inner Harbor Tap Room, and soon-to-be Lake Placid Tap Room.
Well, I think first and foremost, the Feldmeyer family and our team are extremely passionate about what we do. We care very much about what we do. The Feldmeyer family is always investing. Our taproom management team, our brew management team, our marketing management team, and all of the team members that get after it every day, they leave it on the field. They put their heart and soul into it. I know for a fact that everyone that works at Myers Creek wants to be there, and we want them to be there. You know, we want them to feel good about their job. And again, if you've never been to Myers Creek, especially to the brewery, I mean, I want your eyes to open really big. I want you to see how big of a brand this is. I want you to see where we're going. The sky is the limit, and I feel very proud of that, and I'm very excited about that. When you think of designing a menu for a brewery, it's kind of open to a lot of different interpretations. I mean, you can do American, you can do Asian, you can do Italian, and you just have to find, you know, how that meets that pub style dining experience, that gastropub vibe. And I think it's super fun for us because obviously we know that, you know, everyone in the world is going to sell a pizza or a burger or a french fry, but what can we do to be different? And what can we do to be true to who we are? We are a brewery, you know, a brew pub. So the flavor profiles are kind of all over the place. And I think it's super cool that we have a massive smoker at the brewery in Cazenovia, and we smoke a lot of our products. A delicious smoked turkey. We have barbecue ribs on Sundays. From a pulled pork sandwich to a chicken wing, you go to the Inner Harbor and you go to the Kaz location, and you'll find similarities in the menu, but also things that are a little different, and also kind of fit those different demographics or different communities, and also hopefully just drive you to try every tap room that we have open at some point, because you get a little something different at each one. You know, we understand how hard it is to, you know, work every day and get after it every day, and when you're done at the end of your day, you want to go out and put your feet up in a good ambiance and good environment. So we take pride in that. We make sure that everyone knows that they're very much valued to us.
Here's a message from Renee from Bryan's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York. Open Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and Sundays for brunch.
It's a lot like the way that my mom and dad ran their restaurant. We have put in place a lot of people that are family to us, very similar to how my dad hired people that were family to him. And then the tradition I'm carrying on is a lot of the items that are on our menu are my dad's. And he taught our chefs how to recreate his dishes. So I think that Tommy McNerney, who our executive chef is, to him it is an art. And I think that when he does create a dish, it's not just about making the food taste delicious, which is definitely our priority, but it's an art to him, and it's almost like his canvas on a plate where he just wants the colors to look great, and people love it because he takes pride in that. And Bryan and I appreciate that. We want it to obviously look good and taste good. I will tell you, when we opened up, it was 6 weeks before COVID. And what was amazing was the community, our friends and family stepped up, and everybody did takeout. Everybody supported us. Our hearts were just so filled. So to Bryan and I, obviously our friends come all the time, and we just have repeat customers in Jamesville, and I think people going to our previous restaurant in Green Lakes are making the trip to come to Bryan's Landing to support us. And I mean, I think we have great food and a great atmosphere. So it's very, very important to us.
Head to Bryan's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York, where memories have become recipes that are now meals to share with you. Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and on Sundays for brunch. And be sure to come out for live music Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Life gets busy, and sometimes that means us running around. So Canine Camp Dog Daycare offers you an opportunity to give your dog a place to stay while you take care of what you need to throughout the day. Canine Camp Dog Daycare is located on 228 Old Bridge Street in East Syracuse, New York. You can see it from the highway, and it's just off of Erie Boulevard across from BJ's Wholesale Club. Call 315-437-7110. That's 315-437-7110 to schedule an appointment to bring your dog in and tour the facility. Appointments are Monday through Thursday after 6:30, where you and your dog can see everything that Canine Camp Dog Daycare has to offer, including a self-serve dog wash and a retail store filled with all of your dog's wants and needs, including food, treats, harnesses, leashes, and more, making Canine Camp Dog Daycare your one-stop shop for your furry-loving friend. Right, Lily? In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville Bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they're always here for you.
And a welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Great Lakes Honda City coming to you on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. They are open for sales and service, so make sure you go and see them Monday through Saturday, and of course all the time at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. With that being said, Murph and I are wrapping up today's broadcast of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora with our discussion on NFL free agency, the tracker of where the free agents have gone here, what's going on in the world of the signings. And so we're going to take a look and see there's a bunch of names that have made decisions. Either people are staying or they're moving forward. So I'll mention a bunch, and then I'll let Murph kind of go where he wants to go with this here. So Alec Pierce, who I covered Cincinnati while he was on that team in college, he was a Colt. He's staying a Colt. He had himself a nice season this season, got the ball from Daniel Jones, so that works in his favor. So he'll be staying. Trey Hendrickson, after the deal that fell through with Mason Crosby not Mason Crosby, Max Crosby. Mason Crosby was a punter or kicker. So Max Crosby, when that fell through with Baltimore, Trey Hendrickson leaving the Bengals for the Ravens, which is inside of the division, the AFC North, so that's interesting there. Wendell Robinson, who helped out the Giants in the absence of Malik Neighbors, is now a member of the Tennessee Titans at wide receiver. Romeo Doubs, longtime Green Bay Packer, is now a New York Patriot at wide receiver. Malik Willis leaves Green Bay for the Miami Dolphins, who are trying to figure out who their quarterback's going to be in the future after letting Tua go. So Malik now joins Quinn Ewers and the crew in Miami. And some of the other names here, Rashid Shaheed is staying with Seattle. No surprise, he's staying with the championship team at wide receiver. I want to stop at this one. I want to get your thoughts, Murph. Oh, Kenneth Walker III, champion with the Seattle Seahawks. Now he's a Kansas City Chief. Automatically, in my opinion, gives the Chiefs their best running back in like at least the last 4 or 5 years. And Mike Evans leaving Tampa, Old Faithful of being 1,000-yard receiver. He's now in San Francisco. So there's a bunch to talk about here. Isaiah Likely leaving Baltimore to go to the New York Giants, which could be good for fantasy for those of us that had
great
him.
for fantasy.
For those of us who had him. And also, you know, I mean, when you look at the Baltimore Ravens and the fact that they have this tight end situation where Mark Andrews is there, but then Isaiah Likely would fill in when Andrews wasn't healthy. Then they played them both last year, and they ate from each other so much that it affected all of us that drafted either one of them. Now he's a Giant, so that's good for him, good for Mark Andrews. And then the one I'm going to pause at here, because I have a lot of things to say about it, but I'm going to get Murph's thoughts either on this or any of the other moves I've mentioned. Travis Etienne Jr., unrestricted free agent, Jacksonville, now a New Orleans Saint.
That one was surprising. I was not expecting him to leave. I fully expected the Saints to be drafting Jeremiah Love at number 8. All the teams in the top 10 that needed a running back signed big free agents. What? I don't. What's going to happen to Jeremiah Love? I mean, maybe the Titans do something, but I don't know. But you know, Alec Pierce was interesting. He left a lot of money on the table to stay with the Colts. I forget which team it was that made him the offer, but he would have gotten, I think it was $30 million a year from this team, and he decided to stay with the Colts. So Sauce Gardner got his wish. You know, the Colts don't have a first-round pick for the next 2 years because of Sauce Gardner getting traded there. Thank you, Sauce, for not playing well and the Colts losing all of those games so that we have a higher draft pick. You know, so ultimately it's free agency was wonky. You know, Kenneth Walker, it seemed like he had one foot out the door all year long. He goes and wins Super Bowl MVP, and he's out the door, and now he's in Kansas City. You know, that was surprising. I think Isaiah Likely to the Giants is a really good move. You know, the Raiders signed all those players, and then Max Crosby comes back along with and then had to give back those 2 first-round picks they were getting.
Yeah.
You know, do they have to? What's going on with their with the salary cap with them? They made all those moves assuming Max Crosby was out the door.
Yeah.
You know, now he comes back and it's like, well, do we have the money to do all the rest of this stuff? I don't know. But we'll see. I was a little surprised seeing Travis Etienne leave. Where do the Jaguars go from here at running back? I mean, is it Basil Tootin's show now, or are they going to look to draft somebody?
Well, they have Basil Tootin. They have LaQuint Allen Jr., who came from Syracuse and did some good things, and obviously proved to be trustworthy to be out there in third down situations and, important time periods to catch the ball or run the ball. So he did well as a rookie, and Bajal did well as a rookie as well. Here's my thing with Jacksonville and the saga of Travis Etienne Jr. So Travis Etienne did not play in his rookie season due to a torn ACL. And so his rookie season was like his sophomore season, essentially, in the NFL. And he comes out, and he's a safety blanket for Trevor Lawrence because they both played at Clemson together. And they know what it's like to win a national championship together. So he's there, catches the ball in the backfield, runs the ball well, runs the ball better between the tackles than I thought he would. He's doing good things. He's a dynamic player. And since tearing his ACL, by the grace of God, he stayed healthy. And I'm sitting here going, okay, well, they locked up Foye Oluokun. They locked up Josh Hines-Allen. They locked up Trevor Lawrence. They've extended all these guys. So the only one that they haven't extended that I'm circling is Travis Etienne Jr. So he must be trade bait. And they had a couple of years, they had like 3 years, and then they had 2 years, and then they had this past season, and I was like, okay, so what's the plan? You've had all this time to work out a deal with him. If he becomes an unrestricted free agent, he's going to leave Jacksonville, and you're going to get nothing for him. No draft picks, no cash consideration, no players. What's the plan? And Jacksonville, no matter who's been in the front office over these last many years, have made decisions that I just find to be very head-scratching. Travis Etienne being one of them, where you could have traded him, you could have moved him, you could have found something before last year's draft or the year before, or you could have extended him. But the fact that they let him leave for absolutely nothing has me sitting here saying to myself, why would you let that happen? You have a starting running back who's played multiple seasons healthy, who has kept your team alive in games, who has provided opportunities for this team to be a playoff team, and they're coming off a playoff season. Why would you not find value in the draft that's upcoming, or in players, or in both, or in player and money, or in draft and money? So I question Jacksonville that they would let a starting running back, not a backup, but a starting healthy running back go out of his rookie contract that they extended to a 5th year and allow him to just leave. But they got rid of Christian Kirk, a starting wide receiver, for a 7th round pick. They got rid of Evan Engram, a starting tight end, for nothing. Jacksonville has been known for letting starters go for 5th round picks, 6th round picks, 7th round picks. Outside of Jalen Ramsey and Yannick Ngakoue, they've been really ill-advised in the moves that they've made. Or maybe advised well but didn't listen. I'm not in the room, but Jacksonville has consistently let go of good talent for little to no money, little to no draft picks, little to no veteran player that they're switching for. So I don't. This is another move in a long line of history for Jacksonville that I sit here and go, how the hell does that make sense? Travis Etienne goes to New Orleans. Now they have a starting running back. Now they have a future there, and they automatically have a talent in the backfield and in the passing game, and of course in the check down, and you got nothing for him. And I'm at a loss, Murph, that I've been talking about this for the last 2-3 years, and Jacksonville seemingly just had no plan. If they tell me that there's not a market for Travis Etienne and none of the other 31 teams were interested in a trade, I would probably call BS on that. But Jacksonville once again gets nothing for something, and it's left me saying, congratulations for letting him audition for the rest of the NFL. You couldn't even pull off getting a 4th-round pick for the guy? Confusing to me.
Yeah, it's a little surprising. It almost kind of seemed like they didn't really want him. I mean, last year it was basically a running back by committee.
Yeah.
And then this year it was, they trade away. Who was the running back they traded that they got rid of?
Tank Bigsby.
Like, they got rid of Tank Bigsby. So now it's Travis Etienne's show. Sorry. Travis Achan. As he said at his introductory press conference in New Orleans, that's how you're actually supposed to pronounce his name. I forgot about that until just now.
Achan?
Literally like Devon Achan.
They've
like,
called
I kid you not.
He's been called Etienne.
He just went. I know, he just went with it. But from what he said, his name is supposedly pronounced Achan. I'm probably still gonna end up calling him Etienne. That's just, it's easier. It might have a hard time remembering that one, but regardless, it seemed as though they didn't really want him, and then they trade Tank Bigsby, and he's got the backfield to himself, and he plays great.
Yeah.
He went out and played like a guy playing for a contract, and he got one. Only problem is he's got Alvin Kamara to still deal with in New Orleans, but, so he may not be the feature back, but Alvin Kamara is also getting up there in age too, so we'll see what happens there. But where did the Jaguars pick? Like 25 or something?
So, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm getting lost in this Travis changing his name. I'm looking at it right now, and we'll talk about that in a second. But because it's
bizarre, right?
It's just, it's weird to correct it now. I guess better late than never. But the Jacksonville Jaguars will be selecting in the first round at pick number. Did I miss it? All right, it's not 26. Let me see here.
It'd be earlier than that, probably like 22.
Did they give it up?
Did they trade their first round pick?
Yeah, Jacksonville is not drafting in the first round.
What?
That's a long line.
When did they trade?
That's a long line.
They traded it for Travis Hunter.
Yeah, so
I forgot about that.
Dallas is drafting twice.
Because they traded it to the Browns when they got Travis Hunter last year.
Yeah, so I'm looking at.
I forgot about that.
I'm looking at the order right now. The Rams are drafting twice in the first round. The Cowboys are drafting twice. The Browns are drafting twice.
The Jets are drafting twice.
And the Jets are drafting twice in the top 16. I think that's it of the teams that are drafting twice. I'm just doing a one.
I saw something crazy that the Jets might try to trade pick 33 for a 2027 first round pick. They would have 4 first round picks next year.
Well, they're definitely stacking up first round picks over the next bunch of years, including this season. This has been something they've been looking to do, is, I guess, build toward the future. But I'm looking at this and I'm saying to myself, like, this is, good for the Jets in building toward the future. I hope their fans are patient. I know that they're not, but I hope that they can transition to be potentially. But yeah, the Jets, they will be drafting twice this year, 2 and 16 in the first round. The Cowboys are 12 and 20, and the Browns are 6 and 24. And I think that is it for the first round, April 23rd in Pittsburgh on ESPN and the NFL Network, of teams that are drafting twice. But Jacksonville is not drafting in the first round. I feel like this might be the first time ever. But yeah, they're not drafting in the first round. Keep in mind that a few years back, in 2021 and 2022, they had the first overall pick back-to-back seasons, and where they took Trevor Lawrence in 2021 And in 2022, they took Trayvon Walker on defense. So,
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to see what's going to happen here. But, yeah, I mean, the moves, I'm looking at some of this other stuff. But let me go back to Travis. So, he set the record straight on his last name. He's from Jennings, Louisiana. He said his last name is pronounced like Achan, like Murph said, which Devon Achan of the Miami Dolphins, also a running back. So he would have two Achans. One of them looks like Achan. One of them, looks like A-Chain. And the other one looks like ETN. So he said when he enrolled at Clemson in 2017, he was constantly correcting people who pronounced it ETN, which, is just like taking the 4 letters, or the 3 letters E, T, and N, and saying it. He said he gave up trying to change it and accepted the pronunciation. He said growing up, it was Travis Achan. That's how they always said it, Travis Achan. But when I went to college, I kept telling them my name, like every day, every day, every day. After like 4 weeks, they just couldn't get it. So I'm like, man, it's ETN. How you see it is how you say it. That's how that became. And it kind of just took off because it was easier for the announcers to say it. I didn't have to correct them every day how to say my name. Just when I kind of started learning more about my last name and how it came about, it just kind of stuck. It made sense. I'm very much open to being Travis Achan again, just being myself. I don't have to correct people here on how to say my name each and every day, and I kind of love that, just getting back to me. End quote. He signed a 4-year, $52 million deal with the Saints again. So Jacksonville, you can't tell me there wasn't a market for the guy, because that's over $10 million a year on average. So yeah, just weird. But I apologize to Travis because I covered you at Clemson.
It's not your fault, clearly.
Right. Well, and the thing is, but I mean, he just stopped correcting people before I met him. So I thought it was ETN. I have a friend, and his name is the exact same spelling, but it's Etienne. So Rick is Etienne. Travis, to me, was told ETN, and now we're being told it's Achan. So Travis, from here on out, you'll be Achan. So now we have 2 Achans in the NFL that are not related, which is pretty
and spelled completely different.
Yeah, wild. I do want
It
to
is wild, yeah.
I want to go really quick to the quarterbacks here. So, free agent quarterbacks, I mentioned Malik Willis, Green Bay to Miami, Mitchell Trubisky, Buffalo to Tennessee, Marcus Mariota is staying with Washington. This is an interesting one because he could end up playing a few games with Kyler Murray not there. Gardner Minshew leaves Kansas City and goes to Arizona. Chicago keeps Case Keenum. Buffalo keeps Kyle Allen. Kenny Pickett goes from the Raiders to the Panthers. Carson Wentz is staying with Minnesota. Trey Lance is staying with the Chargers. Sam Howell has now played for 3. He will now, as of this season, if it sticks, he will have played for 3 of the 4 NFC East teams, having been drafted by Washington, going to Philly, and now he's a Dallas Cowboy. So he's only not been with the Giants of that NFC East. Josh Johnson goes from Washington to Cincinnati. Jake Browning goes from Cincinnati to Tampa. Kyler Murray goes from Arizona to Minnesota. Tua goes from Miami to Atlanta. And Teddy Bridgewater goes from Tampa to Detroit. Any thoughts on the quarterback movement, Murph? Any one of these that makes you feel like we might see one of these guys?
I mean, obviously, we're going to see Malik Willis playing for the Dolphins. That was a head scratcher for me personally. I did not see Miami as the team for him. I felt pretty confident that he was probably going to go to like Arizona. Did not, didn't necessarily see that coming, but he was really the only guy that signed as a well-known beforehand free agent.
Yeah.
Obviously you had Tua going to Atlanta to be with Michael Penix and Kyler Murray going to Minnesota. Those are interesting. Kyler Murray, I do think will probably start for them. Justin Fields also got traded to the Chiefs, so that's going to be interesting. to see what, if he plays when until Mahomes comes back.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was some interesting moves, quarterback wise. We definitely had some starters, some former starters changing teams, a lot more often than maybe what we normally see this year, or in recent years. But I'm interested. I don't necessarily love what the Jets did at quarterback, but that's just me.
Yeah. No, I mean it's definitely. I mean, I'm breaking down the NFL free agency, which we'll do throughout the week this week. When it comes to running back, there's a bunch of guys that change their teams. Travis Etienne Jr. going from Jacksonville to New Orleans. Kenneth Walker III going from the champion Seattle Seahawks to the Kansas City Chiefs. Dobbins is staying in Denver. Kenneth Gainwell is going from Pitt. So he was in both parts of Pennsylvania, Philly, then Pitt. Now he's going to Tampa. Rico Dowdle is going from Carolina to Pitt, which makes no sense to me because Rico Dowdle, who really didn't do a lot in Dallas, looked great in Carolina, and now they're letting him go. Tyler Algier is leaving one nest for the other, leaving Atlanta where he had to share time in the backfield to now go to Arizona, who for the last couple seasons has constantly needed help at running back when they've had 3, 4, 5 guys injured at a time. Chris Rodriguez Jr. leaves Washington for Jacksonville, so now he'll join LaQuint Allen Jr. and Bajal Tutin. Keaton Mitchell, who came from East Carolina, leaves Baltimore for the Chargers. So now Baltimore has lost multiple running backs to the Chargers from one Harbaugh to the next Harbaugh, which is funny. And then Rashad White, even though John Harbaugh is now with the Giants. Rashad White, Tampa to Washington. Isaiah Pacheco leaves Kansas City for Detroit, who lost David Montgomery to Houston. So now Isaiah Pacheco will be in a backfield that no longer has David Montgomery, but has him and Jahmyr Gibbs. Emmanuel Wilson leaves Green Bay for Seattle. Jaleel McLaughlin stays in Denver. Julius Chestnut stays in Tennessee. Jerome Ford leaves Cleveland for Washington. Damian Pierce leaves Kansas City for Philly and was formerly Houston. Amari DeMercado leaves Arizona for Kansas City. So Kansas City's trying to get multiple options at their running back position. And then we look at Ty Chandler, who left Minnesota for New Orleans. So he will join Achan there. Travis, not Devon. It's going to be confusing for me.
It is going to be very confusing.
Zonovan Knight stays in Arizona. Patrick Taylor stays in San Fran. And A.J. Dillon, who I covered at Boston College, who was Green Bay, then Philly, is now in Carolina and could end up being the number one guy in Carolina. So wild. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff, a lot of movement going on here. But the running back room, I mean, this is going to be really interesting. The Rico Dowdles, the A.J. Dillons, the Tyler Algiers, the Kenneth Walker IIIs, Travis Achan. There's a lot of names. Isaiah Pacheco, David Montgomery, who left in a trade. But, I mean, I'm talking free agency here. There's a lot of movement at running back that could really affect things in the NFL.
Absolutely. And even from a fantasy perspective, you're seeing, some guys who were starters that are going to be going and being backups somewhere. Isaiah Pacheco going from the Chiefs to the Lions. He ain't starting there. They got all-world running back Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah.
He ain't going to be starting. You got other guys moving around. You got guys coming to Kansas City that to now back up Kenneth Walker and there was a lot more movement, I think, running back wise than maybe we were expecting, but it seems like that's starting to happen more and more every year. Because, teams don't like spending second contracts necessarily on running backs. And, I know for the Jets, it's probably going to happen next year. I don't necessarily see unless they come to a deal on an extension. I'm worried that we're just going to let him walk for nothing. And, after tagging him this year, and we're not going to have him in 2027. And that'll be, very, very unfortunate. But running back, from a fantasy perspective, that's the most important position. So folks, pay attention to where some of these guys went, because that could definitely affect who you pick in drafts once August rolls around. and who you might want to have as a guy that's a potential handcuff that you hold in case of an injury.
Yeah, no, it's a great point. And I was thinking fantasy as well. I mean, it's got a lot of implications that are going on here, and we'll continue to talk about NFL free agency and NFL moves throughout the week this week. We'll continue to cover the Jerry McNamara saga and if and when this deal is done, as well as I'll be at Syracuse spring ball. Football is already back, folks, and I'll be covering the NCAA tournament. You can go to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt, and you can go to my NCAA tournament playlist on our YouTube channel and watch over 70 videos connected to the NCAA tournament, including a bunch of player and coach Q&As, including this season, which so far has featured on my YouTube channel. I'll let you know who we have up there. We have Jerry McNamara of Siena, and I'm going to continue to say Siena until it's not Siena. So Jerry McNamara has been up on there, my Q&A with him. High Point guard Rob Martin, Troy Trojans head coach Scott Cross, who's now at Georgia Tech, UNC head coach Hubert Davis, Duke head coach John Shire, and as I mentioned, Jerry McNamara, as well as The Drive, where Ross Turetsky and I bring you through the entire NCAA tournament. So with all of that being said, plenty coming up this week, including a bunch of interviews with, and I can't wait for this. Coming up on tomorrow's show, I'll be joined by Damon Barnes, who was at Syracuse Pro Day. And he's a Cornell defensive back who was invited to Syracuse Pro Day. He'll be on the show tomorrow. And we will also have Kurt Fitzpatrick, who will be joining the show, who's the head coach of the Colgate Raiders, who won a national championship in Division III with the Cortland Red Dragons. He'll be joining the broadcast. I will also be joined by Trayvon Saunders, who is a Colgate wide receiver who had 11 catches and 105 yards in the Dome against Syracuse this past season, and who ran like lightning at Syracuse Pro Day as he was there as well. So plenty coming up this week. Do not miss a second of Wake Up Call inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. As always, Murph, I appreciate you.
Of course, my friend. Happy opening week, and let's go Mets. Drop the F because we no longer claim Pete Alonso as one of our own. That dude can kick rocks. I hope he has a terrible year in Baltimore and that they stink.
Who does Murph like less? Pete Alonso or Miami of Ohio men's basketball?
Pete Alonso.
Yeah.
I just don't care about Miami of Ohio men's basketball.
All that coming from Murph. Thanks for joining me for the conversation with Jack Stonehouse as well, and I'll look forward to talking with you soon.
Of course, my friend.
And happy opening day coming up here this week.
Yes, sir.
So with that being said, the Murphalation Station pulling out of the building. We'll have him back next week as he is with me on Mondays to start off the week on Wake Up Call. And we appreciate you, as always, for being here where sports truly meets that thing called life on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. We'll take our final step aside. We promise you to be here till 11. We're not going to get out of here until after we hit the afternoon at noon plus. So thanks for being with us. Thanks for hanging out with us inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. This is Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and we'll wrap things up right after you hear from our wonderful partners in Central and Upstate New York.
Hey everybody, this is Rockney Roberts from Willow Rock Brewing Company. We are here in Cicero at the Willow Rock Pizza Pub.
And I'm Kevin Williams, also from Willow Rock Brewing Company. Happy to be here and happy to be partnering with CNS and Dan Tortora.
You want some place where you can feel comfortable and hopefully ingratiate yourself with the community. And Kevin, he grew up right down the road from here. I grew up in Brewerton, so not too far away. We know the area, we know the people, they're great, and we were just really excited to be able to come to the area.
Yeah, and having the opportunity to meet some of these coaches, some of the people in general already, and seeing the CNS colors kind of around, and already partnering on a smaller level with individual teams really made this make sense to us to really formalize kind of a partnership with the school and get this rolling.
You know, Willow Rock to me has always been about high quality beverages, high quality experiences, and now high quality food in our pizza pub. You know, that was something new for us when we came to Cicero. Right from the drop, we knew we were going to have a focus on the highest quality food to go with our high quality beer. At the Willow Rock Pizza Pub, you're getting high quality, hand cut, top notch ingredients. We're open for lunch. That's a really important thing for us, is to be able to get that person in here like, hey, you only got 30 minutes for lunch. but we're going to have something for you that you can get quickly and available to everybody.
Yeah, we wanted something that was just a little bit outside the box, a little bit outside of comfort zone, but still something that you could rely on to be consistent and easy to look at and easy to be like, oh, I can see myself eating this. I can see myself wanting to have that more than once. Eating a whole pizza, like our beef on weck pizza, I've never seen one anywhere. It's just a great ideas, great inspiration across the board. We're their spot to stop. We're their friendly neighborhood watering hole, as well as pizza place and place to stop for a restaurant. Not just beer drinkers here. We've got wines, we got cocktails, we got non-alcoholic stuff for the kids.
The location is more important today than it ever has been before, and we're lucky enough to be here in Cicero. The Willow Rock Pizza Pub is a place where you can bring your family. You can come in, you can grab a soda, you can relax. You can come after a game, before a game, your parents, your grandparents. Our goal is to make sure that everyone's comfortable here. We want students, we want athletes, we want your coaches. It's going to be a good time. So come here, enjoy the high quality food, high quality beverage that we're going to offer to everybody. And hey, go North Stars.
We're so happy to have the North Stars. We are very much a kid-friendly establishment. We have tons of space outside for everybody to be playing outside, as well as listening to live music, enjoying some pizza.
The Willow Rock Pizza Pub is open 6 days a week here in Cicero. That is Tuesday through Sunday. And our website is willowrockbrew.com, and our socials are at Willow Rock Brew. So find us on the net, find us in person. We'll see you soon.
Avicoli's Restaurant, located on 7839 Oswego Road in Liverpool, New York, has been serving our community for decades. Your place to go for home cooking on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road is just minutes from Liverpool High School. And every single month, Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is on site, on location, with Liverpool sports, student athletes, coaches, and administration telling their stories throughout the year. We look forward to seeing you on site at Avicoli's for their casual pizza side, their fine dining, as well as their bar. And of course, you can order online at myavicolis.com. That's myavicollis.com. For takeout, delivery, and catering, call 315-622-5100. That's 315-622-5100. Come on in to the neighborhood spot Avicoli's, open 7 days a week in Liverpool, New York. K9 Campground Dog Boarding is your home away from home for your furry-loving friends. Open 7 days a week with drop-off and pickup times in the morning and later on in the day and early evening. K9 Campground Dog Boarding is the spot to trust with your dog for short and long-term stays. Call 315-299-4013 for more information. That's 315-299-4013, and go to k9campground.com as well. That's K9, ground.com, where you will find all of the information on their different cabins, which include the classic cabin, executive cabin, grand cabin, and luxury cabin. K9 Campground Dog Boarding, where your dog will have indoor and outdoor areas as well as their own private cabin for any size, any breed, as well as dogs with different needs. Dog parents and dogs alike choose K9 Campground Dog Boarding. Isn't that right, Lily? Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant.
GG Cards and Breaks. Like, comment, subscribe.
GG Cards and Breaks coming to you on 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York is your one-stop sports shop and trading card shop. Go and see them Tuesday through Saturday from 10 to 6, Sundays from 10 to 5. There's nothing like opening up a pack of cards or a box or finding your favorite player or the team that you love or playing a trading card game with anybody of all ages, like when you're 9 years old or you're 39 years old. There's something to be said about this card world and how it brings people together, the memories it makes. You don't know it till you know it, but then when you know it, you're like, man, it's so cool to be around people that have a passion for this sport, this team, this player, this game. And GG Cards and Breaks, they just help us to be big kids and stay big kids. Josh and Anthony and their team do an incredible job, and there's nothing like GG Cards and Breaks, which is why I always tell you to head over and see them on 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York. Big time shout out to Chick-fil-A in DeWitt. You want to go and try all of those things that you love, from their shakes to the grilled, the original, the spicy, their breakfasts that are amazing. But you also want to try the new stuff that you can get at Chick-fil-A, those new menu offerings, like the Jalapeno Ranch Club Chicken Sandwich and their strawberry hibiscus infused drinks. You can go and get these new favorites in what they're calling Nostalgia, a blend of what you know at Chick-fil-A with some new flavors or twists on those flavors. You can find it all at Chick-fil-A in DeWitt on the corner of Bridge Street and Erie Boulevard. Go and visit them today and let Megan Sorber and her team know that DT sent you their way. With that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, I thank you for being a part of the show and, of course, being with us inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios on YouTube.com and Facebook.com, both /WakeUpCallDT, and on WakeUpCallDT.podbean.com. Of course, we are with you Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time and beyond, as we've been with you for almost 3 hours here today. And we give a special thanks to Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, Player FM, Podbean, Podchaser.com, Spotify, TuneIn, and YouTube, as well as Podvine. All you have to do is search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. Make sure to download, follow, and subscribe on those channels. We appreciate your support of our Central and Upstate New York partners. I want to shout out Great Lakes, Honda City, Carvel, DeWitt, Mon Paz, the snack capital of the world, the Wildcat Sports Pub, GG Cards and Breaks, Pizza Man, Game Point Sports Complex, Chick-fil-A Cicero, Mother's Cupboard, Canine Camp Dog Daycare, Bryan's Landing, Myers Creek, with 2 locations. You will find them by going to 33 Rippleton Road on the countryside, as well as 720 Van Rensselaer Street in Syracuse, New York. Chick-fil-A in DeWitt, Canine Campground Dog Boarding, Brian's Landing, Avicoli's, I think I said Brian's Landing, but I'll say it again, Willow Rock Brewing Company, as well as being the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your. Binghamton University Bearcats. The Bearcats are with us every Tuesday during Bearcat Time. You will find them here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, with student athletes, coaches, administration, and alumni joining the show where sports meets life. You can find all of our content with Binghamton by going to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, and find our Binghamton playlist. The Bearcats are also with you on wakeupcalldt.com's homepage and underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to binghamtonbearcats.com. And as always, go Bearcats. I want to thank my awesome guests here on the show. Of course, we do Mondays with Murph. So big time thanks to Brendan Murphy, longtime broadcaster and journalist here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. So we appreciate Murph for being a part of our Dan Tortora broadcast media family. And of course, many thanks to Jack Stonehouse and all the work that he has done in his career, in his life, to be the human being he is, to be positive, and to be unapologetically himself, and to be a kind person. He's just a lot of great things that go well beyond punting. So shout out to Jack, and shout out to the punting side of things, where I believe he will find himself on an NFL team. Coming up here in, a month from today is the draft, April 23rd through the 25th. So looking forward to seeing where he will be drafted, and praying and hoping the best for him and his family. So shout out to Jack Stonehouse and the Stonehouse family. Find us on Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, X at Call DT, Instagram at Wake Up Call _DT. And as always here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, I say, God bless, no stress. Do your best. We'll talk soon. Stay safe, everybody, and be well.